which Ash was telling us about just before lunch rather unpleasantly.
Holden on strike. Slightly deepish mid-off, I would say. Maddinson has gone to a sort of, he's going to deep backward point. Short fine leg, Chris Rushworth. Deep square leg, deep mid-wicket. As Borthwick is in and Holden tucks that away off his pads. Borthwick in again, Holden back and takes a single through mid-wicket. Just lost the live stream temporarily. $162 for 4, Middlesex.
Oh, nothing yet in my ears, no. 3 minutes to 3. BBC Newcastle thinking about beginning the 4 o'clock news.
Borthwick in, slightly fuller, and Simpson plays it watchfully under his eyes into cover.
Wait until I tell DT about that, Marty. It's up there with travel you can trust.
Punched into the offside by Simpson for no run. Borthwick in again, slightly down the leg side and tickled off his pads by Simpson, but Rushworth is there. Borthwick to finish his second over in, and Simpson just prods to mid-wicket. Middlesex 162 for 4 at the end of 63 overs.
Well, I better hand over the headset, hadn't I, just in case, just before. Throw mind you probably got one more over.
I was going to say at this rate they'll be starting the 5 o'clock news, won't they?
What's the partnership now for these two? The last wicket fell at 122, so it's 40, not quite at the 50 stand yet. They'd just gone past the 50 stand for the 4th wicket at the fall of Milan for 33. They were just shy of the 50 partnership when Stoneman fell this morning. 3 runs added, 46 for them, wasn't it? They added 43 overnight.
Does look like McLendon's going to continue with the shorter stuff.
I think rightly so. I think youngster's got a job to do here.
He created some chances.
Well, use up your energy, lad. They've got the senior bowlers on there. Right, here's your chance. You can come and just bang in some short stuff quite happily with the captain's blessing. He's right arm over, he bowls, and he goes full first ball over the wicket to Holden, who defends to points.
That's typical commentator stuff, isn't it? Mention it, they're going to go for the short stuff, and then full and straight.
Yeah, that feels there. First ball of the over, right. Where do you want to go with this one?
Helped he's got, I believe that's Chris Rushworth right next to him, so...
Oh, they've had a little change here now, and the square leg umpires moved across to points. They've got a mid-on, a forward square leg, a backward square leg, and a deep square leg, as this ball's short, and Holden runs him. Nicely played by Holden. That's clever cricket by the Middlesex number 5. He picks up 4 down to the vacant deep third, and he moves to 30. 166 for 4, realising that the short stuff's coming. They've thought about a few pulls in place. There's only a slip and then a point. So he's run it. Just leaned back slightly and guided it. Run it across in front of slip. If it tucks him up for room, he can always go under it and try and lift it over as well. Could be a little bit of fun to be had here in the coming overs. There should be a little bit of fun to be had. But particularly against this short stuff, I think Holden may well be very keen to try and get going. McLendon's in, bowls a bouncer. Now be close to a no ball. Let's have a look. Yep, no ball calls. 168 for 4. 253 the lead for or the six are looking up towards at the moment. What are you smiling about?
Just wondering that Martin's coming back on air.
Yeah, we've got time. Just got into the news bulletin. Who's he getting rid of first? You're going first. He's taking that headset. That's a clever thing to do. Yeah. Then I'll take mine out in a moment. McAlinden's in. Holden short. Hooks fine of the deep square. He'd just been moved from deep backward square to deep square, and Holden's connected really nicely there. Moves to 34. Backward square leg in place, but in front of the fielder there was going to be no problem. There's kind of a shrug of the shoulders about, well, what do you want me to do about that? 50 partnership as well. There it is. They did race to it.
I don't know what these tactics are about, but this is just sloppy, silly.
Maybe. There was that moment in the last over where it was pulled just in front of him. I think they're just giving McAlinden a tactic here and saying, go on, bang it in short, we'll set the field and let's see if they make a mistake. As McAlinden's in, he bowls, and Holden on the back foot, deep in his crease, steers to the first of the
well, it's not working. I know the ball's 63 overs old, but it's not working, and it's taking the pressure right off Middlesex, having worked so hard this morning to keep the pressure right on them.
100 shy of the follow-on now. McAlinden, 2 balls left to the over. Bowls down, another short one. Holden goes after him again, and that's 4 more. Holden's on 38, and the irritation levels to my left are rising. 176 for 4.
This is absolutely not working as a tactic, so why keep going on with it? This is why.
I think this will be the last over.
This was what was so costly in the T20, all this short stuff that had no impact other than going to the boundary, and they just continued it over after over after over.
McAlinden, last ball of the 64th. Ball short, Holden hooks, and that is a single because they've set back the deep backward square leg. So they've got a deep backward square leg, a deep square and a long leg now. Deep square is just in front of square, obviously, to not incur the no ball. End of the over, end of me for a little while. Deficit's 244. Middlesex are 177 for 4. There are 56 overs, remaining today. So Middlesex's run rate 2.8. What can they do in these 50 overs? I reckon 50 overs, and have a little dart at them tonight, probably, Marty. Can they score 244 in 50 overs? It's going to be a push, but that's what they've got to set themselves.
Borthwick bowling. That one's playing out towards short extra cover. Update now for Radio Newcastle. I'm not quite sure what Durham's tactics are here at the moment. The ball will be due to be replaced in about 16 overs time, but the last few overs it's been banging short stuff in, and it's been going to the boundary regularly, so all the pressure has been lifted from a Middlesex batsman's point of view, because in that period of time Max Holden and John Simpson have put together a partnership of 56 runs in 73 balls. So Middlesex currently 178 for 4. They are still 243 behind Durham's first innings total, and they need to get to 272 to avoid the follow-on. Plenty of overs left in the day, 55 and a half to go. Commentary on the BBC website and the Sports app. Borthwick from the Lumley end. He bowls, and that's a little edge along the floor, and it's gone past Beddingham and down to the vacant third man boundary. It's not going to make it to the rope though. Beddingham's chased it all the way from first slip. He hands it to Maddinson, who throws it back in. .182 for 4. Holden is on 43. Simpson on 21. Run rate 2.8. Borthwick pulled out towards deep mid-wicket. An awkward bounce there for Bushnell, but he stops it. That is the end of the over. So the deficit 2-3-9. These two came together after lunch when Milan was caught by Nick Maddinson. He just pulled 1-2. Square leg off Chris Rushworth and diving catch from Maddinson. So pressure very much on Middlesex then, 122 for 4, but then the tactics in recent overs have quite frankly not worked and left a lot to be desired, and there we are. They've now decided, having got Stanley McAlinden to flog himself in, to replace him with Ben Rain, so bit of a sort of sacrificial lamb period for McAlinden there. He's now gone 11 overs, 2 for 63, 3 maidens earlier, and 2 of the 3 maidens were wicket maidens this morning. So Ben Rain coming back into the attack, and there's 15 overs to go to the new ball.
Be holding on strike, 43 off 74, strike rate of nigh on 60. Like you say, Martin, Durham had Middlesex under the pump really for most of the entirety of the morning session, only allowing 45 or odd runs to be scored, and they've allowed this pair to put on 60. I get you've got to try something different, but
when it's clearly not working, then you need to change the plan. Every time I looked up, the ball was just heading to the boundary. Every ball was short and every ball was being hooked away. There was one half chance created in that whole spell, I think.
Ben Rain round the wicket, and Holden just defends. Got a deep backward square leg and a long leg in. One slip. Point, cover, mid on, mid off, mid wicket, and square leg. Rain in again, and Holden looks to cut him and just passes his outside edge through to McIntosh. That's what Durham need. They need a little bit more control now. They can't let Middlesex effectively trot up to the follow-on score relatively unopposed. Looking for a spell here. Rain just signalling that he wants Borthwick at a third slip instead of first. He's in now, and Holden just tucks this to mid-wicket for no run. Fourteen and a half overs, 5 maidens, 1 for 27 for Rain at the minute.
The grey cloud sits over us still.
Rain in again, and Holden defends this into the covers. Square's just been... There's a little bit of sun breaking through the clouds. Square's just been nicely covered by the sunlight, but as you say, it's got very dark away to our right.
Somebody's suggesting the weather forecast doesn't look too good tomorrow, but there might be a bit of rain around in the morning. But then after that, at the moment, it looks quite clear. The odd shower maybe.
Rain in, it's short, and Holden pulls him away to Maddinson at deep backward square. Brings Simpson on strike. Holden moves 6 away from a half century. 1 ball left of the 66th over. Rain bowls, and Simpson just defends him into the covers. Straight to Michael Jones. Middlesex 183 for 4.
Sun is shining and we've got really dark grey clouds above us as Borthwick starts a new over from the Lumley end. Right arm over, leg spin, bowling to the left-handed Holden, who's on 44. Comes in again and bowls. This is flicked away off the legs out through mid-wicket for 1. Holden has a higher score of 153. That was against Kent when he was on loan at Northampton in 2017. One of 3 hundreds he's got, and he's got 14 50s on top of that. While at Northants he also scored 124 against Durham in a Northants win in Chester Street here in the pouring rain. I remember they got across the line in that one. This is played up to mid-off, no run there. His other 100, 119 not out for Middlesex against Derbyshire in 2018. This is defended by Simpson. Two left-handers in at the moment. This is turned away around the corner and down towards long leg for 4. Nice little sweep shot there. This is that period mid-afternoon where the ball is not doing much and Durham quite often lose their way and opposition teams get runs on the board, and similarly visiting sides here have gone through those periods where ball 50-60 overs in does nothing for the bowlers, and Durham have accrued runs. Most of the matches this year followed a very similar pattern. It's another single down towards long leg. That is the end of the over. So 6 from it, a single second ball, the 4, and then another single right at the end of the over.
"13 overs until the second new ball is available." Durham lacking just a little bit of control, I'd say, in the afternoon session. Picked up the wicket of Milan early on, but apart from that, Middlesex have scored a lot freer than Durham allowed them to in the morning session. As rain is in and flicked through mid-wicket by Simpson, and he'll get 4 runs. Full and straight from rain. Simpson was not going to miss out on that and clipped it through mid-wicket exquisitely. Middlesex move on to 193 for 4. Partnership moves on to 67. And deep backward square has just been instructed to move in front of square. And long leg moves finer with him. Squarer, sorry. Rain in again and keeps low outside the off stump.
A few angry sounding gulls out there. That.
Rain in again and Simpson just prods back to him.
Breeze is just getting up. So at ground level, the wind's coming in from the east, but the cloud's moving to the east from the west.
Rain in full and driven by Simpson. Rushworth off in pursuit. Won't get 4, but they should come back for 3 quite comfortably, and they do. Slightly fuller from Rain, full of a length, and Simpson able to just drive him nonchalantly through the covers. He moves on to 33 as Middlesex approach their first batting point. Just 4 runs away now.
Still plenty of overs to get the batting points and the bowling points as well.
Rain into Holden, who prods to mid-wicket. Indeed, just finishing 1 ball left of the 68th over. Another 40 odd for them to stack up, isn't it?
Yep.
Before bowling and batting points for first innings are done and dusted.
42 after this ball.
The answer to life, the universe and everything, if you listen to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
What, the number?
Yeah, 42. Rain to finish the over. Holden prods into the offside for no run. Middlesex 196 for 4.
Did they remake the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I think they did, because my dad, we always listened to it in the car.
Oh yeah. It was popular along with War of the Worlds many years ago.
Yeah, so I think I know they also did I think they did a film on it as well, because I remember watching it on the TV around Christmas time one year. Remember they did a film of about 2.5 hours
right.
of it. I think because we still have my dad has the original CDs, not CDs, but they'd fit 2 episodes on them and put them in
Peel here for LBW. Borthwick's convinced. Nobody else seems interested at all there. Looked like it might have been a bit too leg-sidey. He absolutely looks convinced. The umpire never moved a muscle there.
I think that was a please give us something rather than he's actually out there. That didn't look like I had anything going through whatsoever.
Flights this up. Oh, nearly a caught and bowled. It was a low full toss. It's hammered back to him and it bounces out. He couldn't hold on to it. Simpson dropped on 33.
Premeditated from Simpson to come down a wicket. I think he was expecting Borthwick to pitch it slightly fuller of a length. He was trying to go over his head, and fortunately with the low full toss meant he chipped it straight back to the captain, but he couldn't take hold of it.
Borthwick again has Simpson back into his crease, plays this one down into the ground.
I mean, Durham aren't helping themselves by not taking the half chances when they come. While McAleenan was bowling his short stuff, there was a catch opportunity that dropped just short of Maddinson down at deep backward square leg, had dropped, caught and bowled here.
Borthwick in again, and that one's played towards mid-wicket. It was a sharp chance because it was a full toss, but it was a low full toss and he hit it hard, really low, and Borthwick did well to react to get down to it, but it just bounced out of his hands. It was travelling, and that was a fairly straightforward defensive shot there, but when he's bowling, he's so animated and believes in every delivery that he's going to get a wicket. Comes in again, and Simpson turns this to mid-wicket, no run. End of the over. Really has got gloomy now, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next few minutes if we were to see, that was a maiden, the lights coming on here. There's a big splodge of dark cloud and it's sitting right on us, drifting in very, very slowly from the west, whereas at ground level we have quite a breeze from the east. That's the light meter saying we're on the cusp, I would say, according to my light meter. It's around about the 300 mark, and that is normally where we get the floodlights on, or if the floodlights are on and it's still only around about that, they go off.
Be rain to continue, and he's moved the skipper out the slip cord entirely now, so it's just McIntosh there. Borthwick goes to point. Man at backward point and Jones in at cover. He now moves Beddingham over to the offside. So it's Beddingham who's gone to sort of a forward point. Borthwick now goes back into a gully, and I think it's Bushnell backward point as Rain is in over the wicket. Playing a miss from Holden. It kept relatively low.
It did, didn't it? Just drifted away from him at the last as well.
Not quite sure what the plan is for Rain at this end at the minute. It seems like the overwhelming plan is to dry it up, but doesn't seem to be a specific line and length he's been told to bowl.
Well, he alters his approach. Most deliveries.
Back in his crease is Holden and just prods this to mid-off.
He'll bowl his little cutters, his skiddy ones, the odd bouncer.
This is where the variations do come in play.
Yeah, he just mixes it up, but I mean, actually what's happened is Durham have now slowed the run rate right down again after they've abandoned this bang it in short thing, because these are the overs where you're drifting towards the new ball, and psychologically they're looking to see, oh, we're only 15 overs away from a new ball, but you can concede an awful lot of runs in that period of time if you don't keep things tight.
Rain in, and again Holden just defends.
That one's skidded on. Good length ball, and it stayed quite low, so Holden's back in a duel again here now on 45 as well.
The short pitch bowling was definitely worth a go, but as you said, when it's very evidently not working, but you keep going back to it, that's when it then becomes a little bit of, well, why are you doing this? When you're going to the boundary every ball, why do you keep going back to it?
Yeah.
Rain in again, and Holden again just forced to defend up the track. Rain's economy just sitting at above 2 for the innings. After this over, it'll be 10 till the new ball. I presume Rushworth and Potts will share those duties again. But as we mentioned, Durham just trying to dry it up a little bit before they get to that point. Rain in, slightly fuller, and Holden can only half drive it to the covers. Just mustn't let Middlesex get away here. Got to keep it tight. If you're Middlesex, got to respect it. This is very good bowling. Keep yourself in and look to put away the bad deliveries when they come. Rain to finish the 70th over. He's in, slightly back of a length, and Holden pushes this to mid-wicket for a single. He'll retain the strike, moves to 46. Middlesex 197 for 4.
BBC Radio Newcastle with you on BBC Radio London. Martin Emerson and Rob Rush and Kevin Hand. Ash Thorpe came in at lunchtime. Left some socks for Kevin, some cricket socks I think, and possibly a banana. I think he might have gone off to do some indoor coaching. We've got this weird scene at the moment now where the ground is bathed in bright sunshine and the sky is so dark. Goals going past her, being illuminated by the sun, and they're bright white against that dark backdrop. First ball of a new over here from Borthwick to Holden, just played back along the ground to him. One slip in place in Beddingham, keeper standing up to the stumps with a helmet on. We've got Rushworth as a backward square leg. This has gone off towards deep square leg for 1. To McAlinden. Tea's at 4 o'clock, so we've got another 35 minutes for tea and then another long afternoon after that. Probably another 5 past 7, 10 past 7 day. Borthwick once more, that's a sweep, and it's gone inside the line of Rushworth, who's at fine leg on the what would be the discs in a one-dayer. He's chased the ball down towards our commentary position. They run 3.
Very fine sweep. I don't think he got all of it, just a little inside edge, and he wanted that to go
200 up.
He wanted that to go behind square and end up going just like you say in front of the road. That's the first batting point for Middlesex
200 for 4.
of 70.5 overs.
Borthwick bowls. This is just pushed away on the leg side. No run there. Borthwick in once more. Bowls. Oh, an edge and a wicket. And Holden went forward, then changed his mind, went back. He edged it low. Beddingham's taken him at first slip. And I think that's only Borthwick's second championship wicket of the season, but he leapt into the air and punched the air with delight. Holden departs for 47, and that is the end of a 79-run partnership as well. Stayed quite low, but he was in two minds. He went forward, then he went back. Just watch this again here. He sort of played the wrong line. He's played inside the line and got a leading edge and a good low take from Beddingham.
It's the thing they always say when playing against spin, don't get caught in between. Make sure you're set in your mind about if you are going to get forward to it or get back to it. Don't get caught in the middle. Holden, like you say, looked to go forward to it, changed his mind as it came in and caught the leading edge, and Beddingham taking a smart low catch down to his right hand side. A crucial wicket for Durham as they look to break that momentum, and they did. Holman, the new man at the crease.
Holman down at Lord's. That was the afternoon where I went off to Wembley for 2 or 3 hours. I think he put on a partnership of was it 100 for the 8th wicket?
Sounds plausible.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, Martin Anderson made 62, Luke Holman 41, and they took the game away on that afternoon. They had been 126 for 4. They put on 100 in 18 overs.
Wicket sort of came out of nowhere there. Wasn't expecting Borthwick to get one. We said he's always zealous in his bowling, but they looked to be dealing with him relatively well, and then just caught in two minds and bang.
And again, Holman comes forward and defends this one. I think that is Scott Borthwick's second championship wicket of the season. I'm just looking here. Yeah. Best figures 1 for 43. So he's bowled in 13 innings now. 96.5 overs before this game, and he's bowled 6 today. So 1 for 18 from 6 overs, day 1 made, and he's kept it tight. And just splitting that partnership up at a crucial time there.
The 9 overs now until that second new ball. Ben Rain to continue. I have a feeling these two might see Durham all the way through. Might see Stanley McAlinden back for a few short overs just before, because it'd be a very long spell for Rain if he was to go to 80. But crucial wicket for Durham to steal some momentum back in the game. Here's Rain over the wicket. Simpson flicks that off his hips down the leg side, and that'll be 4 runs. Little bit back of a length, just on the hips, and anything on the hips to a left-hander is bread and butter, really. Just able to flick that very fine. Liam Travasca's down it on his 12th man down it. Long leg, had no chance of cutting that off. Simpson moves to 40. Rain back in, and Simpson prods back to him. Half an hour until the tea interval. Durham would love another wicket or two to really put Middlesex back under the cosh. Here's Rain again, and Simpson defends into the covers.
He's rather animated now, Scott Borthwick. That's the person you can hear shouting encouragement to Ben Rain.
5-4 offside split. Rain again, and Simpson leaves this one outside his off stump. 5-4 split in the field. 5 on the offside, 4 on the leg side. Got a deep backward square leg and a long leg. Mid wicket, mid on, mid off. Cover is Stanley McAlinden, bedding him in at a shortish point. Bushnell at backward point, and Captain Borthwick in at a fifth slip / gully. Rain back in again, and Simpson just defends into the covers again. One ball left in the over.
Wow, some breaking news here. From a journalistic point of view, I find this interesting, having spent a good 10 years covering Crown Courts. It's nothing to do with cricket, but I used to wonder why it was never allowed as I sat there.
As Rain starts his run up to finish the over, in and bowls, and Simpson just defends into the covers. End of the over, Middlesex 205 for 5.
So the BBC, ITN, Sky and the Press Association have won a 20-year fight to broadcast from Crown Court sentencings. As things stand, you're not allowed cameras in the court precinct, so technically not even on the steps. And
that's about to change, though.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, if you see you're watching a report of a trial and there's an artist's impression of the
sketch,
they're not even allowed to draw them in court. All they can do is make a list of notes about what the person looks like, describe their hair and their facial features or whatever the clothes they're wearing, and then they have to go and draw the pictures in another room from memory. Borthwick starts a new over. This is dragged around the corner, or an attempted drag around the corner by Holman. He might have missed it. It's gone all the way down towards the rope, right in front of our commentary position, behind the wicketkeeper. Buys our signal. They run 3. James Franklin, the Durham coach, just wandering around there, having a word with Chris Rushworth. Hands in pocket. He's going clockwise.
So it's about maybe prejudicing the case, which is why you can't really say a lot, is it?
An appeal here, that stays low. Big appeal from Borthwick there. Playing a miss from Simpson. I'm wondering, where did that hit?
I think he would have been pitching just outside leg. Right. It's very close. Very close. It's very good from the skipper.
Stayed a bit low. It's maybe a bit of topspin on that one. Oh, this is a full toss. Where's that gone? That's gone out towards deep mid-wicket safely for 1. Just floating up a little pot pie there to try and tempt him to the big slog on that long leg side boundary towards the castle. 1 run. Borthwick in again. 209 for 5. And did that carry? Reverse sweep from the batsman. I saw the ball bouncing off Rain.
Don't think it did.
Square leg.
Think he hit it into the surface.
Right. I lost the ball until I saw it bouncing off Rain. 1 or 2 bits of things starting to happen now. Simpson on 41. Borthwick bowls. Plays that back to him. This is obviously a good spell from Scott Borthwick, because it's the way that Simpson reacted to that delivery there. He's suddenly jumping back into his crease. Getting the ball to do a bit here, this leg spinner.
Wonder if he goes for cow corner again.
Comes in, and Simpson pulls that past Borthwick, who dives to try and stop it. It's gone up to Rushworth at mid-on end of the over.
Kevin's
back.
He'll be taken over from me once he's got his headset.
He's just come in with his 93rd cup of tea for the day. It's a tour of every nation producing tea, I think. We've been all around the world in tea bags this week.
I just went upstairs to tell the lads what was going on out there.
Yeah.
All right, lads. You're on a loudspeaker up there, Marcy.
Yeah.
We're having a good natter. Listening along to you. What was it? You the Crown Court or something? Was it? There's a TV camera.
Yeah.
They're allowed inside now, are they?
They're going to be, apparently.
Ah.
I don't know if you've ever covered Crown Court, but
No.
I mean, you had to hand out everything, and you weren't even allowed any recording equipment in. We're going to see a bit of spin from Nick Maddinson. It did change a few years ago when they started to allow reporters permission to tweet from court.
Yeah. Here's Maddinson into the attack for the first time. Spin from both ends. Around the wicket he comes to Holman. Over the wicket he comes to Holman. A little bit of slow left arm finger spin and darts one through outside the off stump, resisted. 210 for 5 and 2 drop catches in the last 5-6 overs. Caught and bowl back to Simpson, a reverse sweep.
Did that carry to Rain there?
We think so upstairs.
Right.
Lots of flight. Holman will have a chance to drive at this one. He gets it in between cover and mid-off, and a single's taken. Holman's on to 2.
There was a reverse sweep and it went hard and low, and I saw Rain diving and it bounced off him, but I'd lost the track of the ball on its way out there, so I don't know if it had gone to him low.
We reckon the reactions suggest it was a drop. Could be wrong.
It was a shot. I mean, it was a good piece of fielding actually to get near it, really.
Flight again. And this one outside off allows Simpson to open up for a single. Holman will be desperately disappointed. The Badgers googly. Either that or it just slid on across him. Full from Maddinson. Push back. Because this is a period now, if they can buy some cheap overs with the spinners at either end now, it would be a really useful spell for Durham. This one's cut away out to cover. New ball will be taken at tee. So the bowlers can put their feet up for 20 minutes. Come out and have another blast. Maddinson bowls, and that's eased away into the offside by Simpson. No run. 74 done in this innings. 46 remain of this day. And tea is 20 minutes away. So yeah, basically the 80th over they'll be heading off there or thereabouts. So second new ball available when they come out after tea, and they'll like I say, both of these have been dropped in recent overs, Simpson and Holman. 7 down now, Middlesex. New ball around the corner, still trailing by 208.
What you're describing are two very sharp chances where the ball,
I think balls
was probably never more than about a foot off the floor.
Yeah, the reverse sweep one either sticks or it doesn't, but
Borthwick in again. Holman pulls hard. Oh, nearly caught by Potts at mid-on. He just couldn't quite get his hand to it. Strong back foot punch shot, that one though, from Holman.
He's a strong lad, isn't he, for a 21-year-old? Look at the size of him.
Bit of power there. Has he had 3 shredded wheat this morning?
He has.
He's got his cable knit sleeveless sweater on. Borthwick's covered in mud and red marks off the ball. Comes in again. And a sweep from Holman. That's 4 more. That's gone past long leg. Just strayed too far down the leg side there. Scott Borthwick, he wipes his hand in the ground and wanders off. A bit of dust flies up as he does so. Holman gets a tap of the gloves off his colleague Simpson.
Deficit's
Borthwick's hair looks spiky. He looks like he's been a man who's been at the coalface today, doesn't he? Curving, maybe. Comes in again. And that has the batsman back into his crease, plays it off towards mid-wicket, no run.
So they've scored 221 in 74, 75 overs now, of which they've gone for nearly half that time, but probably only 2 and over.
Borthwick in, and that's 4 more. That was a really short delivery down the leg side, and it's just pulled away down past fine leg for 4. Got is that Travaskis come on as a 12th man?
Yep.
Yeah, he's fielding at fine leg, but he wouldn't. I don't even think he'd be on the discs where he is. He'd be just outside of them in a one-dayer.
225 for 5.
I think they need to drop him away. They're obviously thinking of a top edge, but to stop these 4s, he needs to be further back. He's now gone into a position where he'd be on the discs. This is a forward defensive shot, no run.
Yeah, I like that from you actually. Go to a deep backward square leg and bring square leg up. Not be a bad shout.
225 for 5. This is defended as well up to mid-off.
Let's just jog things along a little bit for Middlesex, isn't it? 225 for 5. They were working out, if they had taken...
Well, they're going to need another 46 to avoid the follow-on.
Yeah, there's a point now where Middlesex have to get going and keep going. They don't need to worry about the follow-on anymore. We're at tea on day 3. But also, we're 3 games out from the end of the season, aren't we?
So we've got 4.
But for Middlesex, they've got to win all their games in September if they don't win this one. What do the draw points mean in this one for them? They need to get after the win. There's Madison bowls. This is worked through square leg for a single by Simpson. He moves to 43, and that's why they're losing wickets, because they are. They're looking. They're trying to be positive. Stoneman, Eskenazi, Milan. Madison to Simpson bowls, and this is tickled through square leg for a simple by Holman. Both of these drops trying to hit out. A reverse sweep and a hit back at Borthwick. So yeah, Middlesex, there's nothing to lose. Well, it's the game to lose, isn't there? But Madison bowls, and this one's cut late and cut fine by Simpson. We'll pick up a couple here down to the vacant deep third. He's trying to get Holman to get a jog on. The slide goes in, the throw comes back, and they'll settle on 2. 2-2-9 for 5. Simpson's on to 45. Holden the last to go for 47, the highest scorer of the innings so far. That'll disappoint them a little bit that nobody's gone on yet. Simpson trying to. He clips out to mid-wicket off Madison. The deep mid-wicket for a single, just fine of the orthodox mid-wicket. He's on to 46. 230 for 5. So yeah, we were just weighing up upstairs. I think at that stage, I think it was about 54 overs left in the day. As forward goes Holman pushing into the offside. If Middlesex was to take 40 of those and say, right, go on, we're going to try and hit this ball around the park. Madison again moves in, and Holman rocks back, punches a single out to deep cover. Moves to 17, 2-3-1 for 5. End of the 76th. Yeah, try and reach parity in those 40 overs, which should leave them 12 overs at Durham tonight. Even if they ended up 20-30 short of Durham, still had 12 overs at them tonight, and try and have a couple of wickets down over the night, leading by 40 runs maybe Durham. 2 down, it just makes for the final day then. Durham have just got to come out and mind their work, haven't they? Although Durham themselves might decide, well, you know what, we'll come out, have a little knock and have a go at you. And I think there's still a bit to play for in this one.
Little tickle away out towards mid-wicket this time from Holman. Collected in there by Jonathan Bushnell.
But then I was getting slammed for being too positive and optimistic upstairs.
You need to know your place, Kev. This one's played up to Potts at mid-on. He races in to try and look for a quick run-out opportunity, but by the time he's got to the ball, Holman is at the other end and has a single.
Since you've been working with Marty for too long, you're too positive and optimistic.
Baller comes in, forward comes Simpson and just blocks that one. Rolls back to Borthwick.
Are you heading off to join up with the family after this game?
No, because they're coming back tomorrow. In comes Borthwick again. Well, yeah, I am in technically, but via back here.
Is that when you're going away?
Yeah.
Oh.
This play towards mid-wicket. There's well, I'm not going anywhere.
I thought you were off to Glamorgan or somewhere.
No.
Simpson defends this one on the front foot into the offside.
I've got to go to Taunton in a few weeks' time.
It's a few weeks' time.
Yeah, it's 17th of August or something. Comes Borthwick. It's a full toss, and that's wellied down the ground and away for 4.
50 up for Simpson. 50 from 66 deliveries. 236 for 5. Lovely innings from John Simpson. Raises his bat around Chesley Street. And this man can do no wrong this year, can't he? He's in great form with the bat, John Simpson. 66 balls, 90 minutes, 6 fours, and Simpson moves Middlesex to 236 for 5.
That's his second half century against Durham, having made 58 for a Middlesex in a win at Lords in 2015. Yes, a Deer Shed Festival this weekend down in North Yorkshire.
Deer Shed Festival.
Yeah.
Madison's in, bowls. Holman push back into the offside, and there's no run. What's the history of Deer Sheds?
It's about I think it's the 11th or 12th year. It's a family-friendly festival, really. It started off as a one-day thing and then gradually Went across a whole weekend.
Forward goes Holman, pushing away to point, no run. Yeah, but what's the significance of the deer shed?
Well, there are on the land. It's this parkland.
Forward goes Holman, pushing to cover.
And it's a place called Baldersby Park. It's a girls' boarding school. That's what's on the site, and there's a caravan park there as well, I think.
Short cut by Holman out to deep cover for a single, 237 for 5.
But there are deer sheds on the land. Deer roam around the land, so that's where it's got its name from. There's a couple I've missed over the years because of cricket and varying things. There was one year we didn't go. I was away somewhere at a T20, I think.
Little scoop, little paddle from Simpson down to fine leg. Deep backward square comes around. Just the single. He's on to 51. 238 for 5. On to come of the 78th. They'll get the second new ball before tea if they want it now. Madison to Holman. Short, punched off the back foot, wide of a deep mid on. Just a single more. He'll keep the strike. 239 for 5. End of the 78th.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years ago, we didn't go because I had too much cricket on, and I remember driving past the site on the morning, and cars leaving early on the Sunday, very early on the Sunday, covered in mud, trailers covered in mud. And on the Monday, I was in the Thirsk area, and I had my bike, and I went and had a ride, and I rode down to have a look, and it was just a mud bath, Glastonbury style. I think that'll be quite hard this year. Probably struggle to get your tent pegs in the ground. It's just down near Thirsk, so some good bands on.
Just working out, sorry to interrupt, Marty, whether that was Simpson's 5th 50 of the season or whether the live.
Hang on.
That's cut away nicely by Holman, just a little short from Borthwick. Holman opens up and punches through point with the cut shot, just in front of point for 4.
He's had, well, that's the 6th time he's got there this year because he's had 2 centuries.
Yeah,
and he's had 3.
So this is 4th. Yeah. I was just wondering whether the live scoreboard had ticked past the, and it has.
So his best score is 109 against Sussex at Lords, and he also made 104 not out against Glamorgan in Cardiff. Bit of bat there.
Yeah, forward defence, bat and pad together. Yeah, that Cardiff innings I described as one of his best. The Sussex one last week wasn't bad either. It was in a position not too dissimilar to this, where Middlesex were a fair way behind and they had to counter-attack, and they got back to within 38 by the end of their innings. Sussex is 523.
Oh, that's out, surely. Oh,
must have pitched outside leg. Yes.
How's that not out?
Skidded on, hasn't it? Just
I'll tell you what. How's that not being given? That's thudding into leg stump there. But Daisy cut it in.
What do you reckon? DRS just pitched in line.
That's out, I think.
I reckon it's a bit of both. It's just in line and it's just hitting, and the on-field umpire's giving it not out.
James Middlebrook, the umpire. I just imagine the hand was going up there. He'd gone back into his crease. The ball skidded through low.
Let's rock and roll, Marty. Does it pitch in line? Umpire's head's in the way.
Defended this time by Holman.
There's every chance that's pitching in line though, Marty. And leg spinner. Oh, I tell you what, no. That's a good call, I reckon. Look at how much you can see of middle as that hits flush in the middle of the knee.
Cut away off towards the point boundary for 1 for Holman.
Look how much you can see of middle, and that's hitting the knee.
Plumb. It's going to hit the inside of leg and middle. Absolutely bang on for the money. How many of these have you heard of then? Nadine Shah's headlining one night. She's from Whitburn, where I grew up. And,
Nadine Shah?
Yeah.
Isn't she a politician?
No, she's a singer. She lives down in Margate in Kent or somewhere now. She gave evidence to the DCMS committee at Parliament last year about how musicians were struggling after lockdown, and been part of the group of musicians who've been asking for more money from the streaming companies and something like that. Recently shortlisted for a Mercury Music Prize about 2 years ago. John Grant's on Django Django, they're really good. Self-Esteem, they're not bad. Snapped Ankles are canny, Billy No Mates. Katie J. Pearson, she's back. She was on last year. She's really good. She's from Bristol. Porridge with a J, they're not bad. The Bug Club. Now, Derek Allen, who's a big Durham fan and is well into his music, sent me a message a few weeks ago saying he'd discovered this band online called the Bug Club, and they're really good.
Round the wicket comes Madison now to Holman. Change of line for the left arm spinner.
There's some good comedians on as well, actually. Stuart Lee.
Round the wicket again, he bowls, and Holman rocks back, punches to cover, dot ball. This is the 80th over, by the way, and new ball available. Who's warming up? Rushworth's warming up in front of us.
So again, a few overs in just before tea.
Sweep from Holman, which he misses, and it thumps into the pads, but must have been pitching outside leg. They haven't got excited about it at all. What are you saying, Travis Lee? Someone's headlining.
Stuart Lee's in the comedy stage.
This ball's worked to mid-wicket by Holman. Another dot ball, just skipping through quickly now to this second new ball, Durham. Solid forward defence from Holman on that one. What do we got? One ball left. Rushworth's ready to go. Here's the last ball of the 80th, and a forward defence from Holman. 2, 4, 4 for 5. Just looking back on that sweep. Yeah, pitched well outside leg. Made no from Madison. 4 overs, 1 maiden, none for 12. He should be done, you'd imagine now.
Are we getting the new ball? I think we are.
Oh! Joe's just stepped on Lucy's tail again.
There's another dog down there, a little terrier that is wheeled into the ground in a pushchair every day, and it's now lying at the... So, Simpson's on 51. And at the other end, Holman 25. He's got there quickly, hasn't he? So, new ball taken. Richard Herring's on. Can you remember him?
No.
Wasn't it Lee and Herring? Weren't they a double act as comedians?
Isn't that what you have in your eggs?
Rosie Jones, is she the girl who's got shaven head on one side and long on the other? Is in the Mock of the Week? No?
No idea.
Trying to remember which one she is.
Oh!
The dog's excited about the new ball. No, it's not right. That's the other one. This is played out towards mid-off, no run there.
Weighs that one up, Simpson, doesn't he? I think he's looking at thinking, I could have gone for that. But quite rightly, first ball with the new ball. Let's just have a look. Let's just have a seat. But I think he's looking at that length thinking, yeah. Put another one there and that one's going. Big moment this, Marcy. What are they, 177 behind. They're close enough to the follow-on, they shouldn't have to worry about it now. But you'd imagine, even if they were all out in the next 27 runs, Durham wouldn't enforce. They'd go out and have a thrash with the bat for a while, wouldn't they?
Rushworth in. This is played back up to him.
They give the bowlers a break for a bit. They've bowled 80 overs. No point bowling them through.
Well, they're not going to take 5 wickets in next to nothing, are they?
No, but I'm saying even if they did.
Yeah.
So let's say they bowled them out in 137, leading by 127. Well, my point being that 20 or 30 runs, whether it's short of the follow-on or not, is kind of irrelevant because Durham surely go back out and have a thrash themselves. And a thrash from the off.
Rushworth round the wicket to Simpson. That's left alone. Am I right in thinking that ball actually lasted 80 overs?
Oh, that's a good shout.
Wasn't changed, was it?
We'll have to find out at the close. Who's your man in the dressing room that you text her these things, or the analysts? What does it actually get noted anywhere? The ball was changed after.
The score is noted down in there. Scorecards, yeah. And I always write it down if I'm there and I see it. That's a leave outside the off stump again.
So you don't often write it down then? He's not biting, folks. It's ever since I put up that Twitter video, you won't bite anymore, will you? I'll try and get you to chase me around the room.
What was it, a porcupine chasing a monkey or something?
It was something like that, yeah. It was the arms waving.
Your average day out with Kev. Rushworth bowls. Simpson plays and misses and is nearly wrong-footed there in the process. Slightly overbalances himself and then goes for a quick walk off towards square leg.
Yeah, all the body weight shifting forwards. Ended up squared up by it. Lovely ball. Just shaped away off the surface, didn't it? That one from Rushworth, straight in on Simpson. Something to think about.
This is turned off down to Stanley McAlinden at long leg for 1.
This is all set for a Roland Jones special, Marty. You heard it here first. Let's have a look what he got against Durham. 85 or 43 I'm going to go for that he got. It was incredible hitting. Absolutely incredible hitting. He had a short boundary to the leg sides, which 55 yards. But that's not his scoring arc. He doesn't really hit across the lines there. Helm hit a few into that stand. Roland Jones just goes, well, I mean, he hit some incredible shots over the big boundary as well. Some of the biggest hits you'd imagine. Angus Fraser was on with me at the time, and I was like, wow, look how far he's hit that, and then he hit the next one further. It's just incredible. Lightning rarely strikes twice, though, does it? So to want him to do it again this week, Middlesex deficit 176, but that's what you're looking at. They need to see off a little bit of this new ball either side of tee, though, first, and then set about trying to tee off and get a game going here at Durham in the final 4 sessions of the match. Be interesting to see with the new ball what the bounce is like. Around the wicket comes Potts, bowls to Simpson down the leg side, and that gets away from the keeper. And 4 more. Middlesex 249 for 5, a run away from a second batting point, and that's something else. You know, the next 150 runs, 30 overs to score them. Why not? You know, if you're not going to win the game, at least get the batting points. Simpson well set on 52. Holman gearing himself up again. Roland Jones and Helms come. He had to have gives it a smack as well, which is fun to watch. When did they finish? Friday at Lords. Middlesex versus Sussex. Here's Potts. Bowls up on his toes. Simpson, and he runs that down to the vacant deep third. Could be 4 more. Pace off it though as it heads towards the rope, and it's just going to be flicked back in. And that will be 3 for Simpson, and that's a second batting point for Middlesex. They're 252 for 5, and in the 82nd over as they bring it up.
81.2 overs.
Simpson's 109 came in a recovery last week with Milan. Middlesex lost, as I was telling you, 4 wickets in 10.1 overs to go from 128 for 1 to 137. 120. Let's try that again. 108 without loss to 137 for 4. Then 130 put on by Milan and Simpson before Milan fell. But then the fun started. Roland Jones, 85 from 78 deliveries. It wasn't quite as manic as I remember. Helm got 43 from 31. 3 6s, 3 4s. Potts to Holman! Bowls him! Off stump out of the ground. Spectacular from Potts from around the wicket to the left-hander. Yeah, misjudgment from... Oh, mind you, I tell you what, that's come back in. That has seamed back in. Around the wicket, seaming back in. We saw that one straighten on Simpson. Over back, and this one off the seam comes back into the left-hander from Potts. And Holman's gone for a fine little cameo there for Middlesex. 25. They're 2-5, 2 for 6, a second bowling points for Durham.
That's a bad leave. Right, we've got...
Only 2 leaves, Marcy.
Yeah. The wrong kind.
Brown ones and green ones.
Yeah.
Oh, is that tea? It is.
It is tea, yeah. It was right on 4 o'clock anyway, wasn't it? So they've got 3 balls to finish on that over.
New ball strikes.
New ball.
My love of Spitfires came as a small boy going to air shows with Dad. Working on Spitfires is a huge responsibility, and the same applies at work.
The care and expertise Derek takes over his beloved Spitfire is the same precision, passion and attention to detail he takes helping you choose your next perfect car. Because at Virtue Motors, it's all in the detail.
We've always been good at designing niche products for consumers. So our thinking was, if we can use the same design skills on products which have got more volume, we'll be more successful. The big issue was the plan to do it. We set a figure of a capacity to make 250,000 pieces a year. That's an ambitious target, that's our figure. So we then worked with the machinery designers to make the washing machines. Number one in this product, it's got to be reliable. A washing machine has a lot of hard work to do, and it's a very important part of most households. So reliability was a big issue. I think any new product, we've got to learn about it. and that's important. We've got to learn about it so we understand it inside out. And that's taken longer than we expected, but we've taken our time to make sure that it's right. There's a big appetite for buying British products, and rightly so, but we can't rely on that. We've got to make a product that competes with all the imports. And of course, remember, we've got our core business here of making domestic dehumidifiers and bottled water coolers and industrial dehumidifiers, so that takes our time, and we don't want to get this wrong. We've done 120,000 hours of testing washing machines here to make sure that it's absolutely reliable and does the job.
No, you were just concentrating as like going forward.
Probably the answer is an anagram spread. I put it that on the countdown. At the end.
Well, I guess I think so. But people are going to get a spot, that's the thing, get caught as well as getting spot. That's what happened just essentially was lying in well, busy. Great. Right, have me tea. I was just saying, well, have me tea. Having the thing there. Yeah. I may as well have me biscuit with your banana in there. Because I can always have another one.
Hello and welcome back to the evening session here at Chester Street, Middlesex, 252 for 6. Wicket lost the last ball before the tea break. Matty Potts bowling Holman. Did a fair bit off the pitch, that delivery. Lost a swing there from the England seamer. It'll be Potts to finish off his over. Two slips in play for Toby Ronan-Jones, the new batter at the crease. Here is Potts setting off to finish his over. In and bowls, and Jones immediately playing and missing outside the off stump. Simpson at the other end on 55 now. Very good start from Potts after the tea break. Fourth stump line and length. Immediately bringing a new batter forward. 2 balls to go. Potts in and some height off the pitch, and Toby Ronan-Jones lifts that expertly over the backward point boundary for 4 runs. A little bit of bounce off the pitch was very wide from Potts, a little bit back of a length, and Toby Ronan-Jones, second ball in, able to just gently free the arms and lift that for 1 bounce over the boundary. Middlesex 256 now for 6. Trailing by 165, 15 more needed to avoid the follow-on. Potts to finish, Ronan-Jones squirting away, and that will be 4 more. Slightly fuller from Potts this time, and Ronan-Jones squirting that backward of point. End of the over, Middlesex 260 for 6, Ronan-Jones 8 off 3, and Simpson 55 off 75. BBC Radio Newcastle, BBC Radio London, Rob Rush, Martin Emerson and Kevin Hand with you for your commentary team. It'll be Chris Rushworth to continue. .161 now, the deficit. Middlesex need to get to 271 to avoid the follow-on. Rushworth around the wicket. In and bowls, and Simpson just prods back to him.
Got another addition to the dog count in the ground, so he's been talking to Stanley McAlinden's dad Mark. He's walking around with a little terrier. Rush within. Owen was playing a miss there. That's moved on Simpson quite late there. I'm just looking back at that dismissal of Holman in the leave and saying that the ball did a bit. It did, but it had already angled in it, and by the time he decided to leave, there was a bit of early swing. But at the point where he pulled his bat away, that ball was always heading for that off stump. So
there are two types of leave, a good one and that one.
Rushworth comes round the wicket from the Lumley end. That's left alone. That must have been fairly close to the target as well. Let's just see how this was. It was about a stump off stump in the end. That seemed like a very short tea break, that one, by the time I'd done the update for Radio Newcastle, written the report for the internet, and then done the video.
Not for the bowlers upstairs, it didn't.
Not for the bowlers upstairs, it didn't.
Not out again in the interval.
Coming up the stairs into the media centre, it sounds like there's a war zone upstairs. The banging and the crashing and the yelping. Rush within, and that's played by Simpson off towards backward point.
Because Kev missed my brilliant night watchman display after he retired out. Managed to preserve the wickets.
Confidence was so low I had to leave the room.
So that you just fancied a little bit of a break, didn't you? It's getting boring for you.
Is this the same Kev who couldn't hit the ball at all yesterday?
Don't know what's happened overnight, but maybe a night sleep has done him the world of good.
Yeah, the carpet's changed.
Just comes out during the lunch break today and just absolutely middled everything.
Yeah.
Beat him on the outside edge a few times, but...
Roland Jones facing Rushworth. He's on 8. Big stride forward to play this one. He plays it to wide, mid-off. Shy of the stumps from side on there from Potts. Backed up by Maddinson way across the other side of the square. 1 run.
We beat him on the outside edge. Got a few inside edges onto pad. Unfortunately, no short leg in play. Otherwise, he would have been gone a lot sooner.
There was one maybe.
I remember in a previous job at the end of the day, if it was fairly quiet, we had quite a long office. And at one end, there wasn't really much in the way of furniture, so we used to roll up copies of broadsheet papers. Edge down towards third man here, and we turn them into try and make a cricket bat out, like a couple of copies of the Times or whatever, or the Telegraph. Lots of sellotape around. I think we had a sponge ball in the office, and that was how we used to entertain ourselves. Only when the bosses weren't there, though. Other than that, the final few weeks at Journalism College in Darlington, summer of 1990, we were in this sort of big terraced house. The main college was round the corner, and out the back was a tennis court and this lovely grassed area with what was meant to be an arts pavilion at the side of it. But there was enough space to have a game of cricket among the people in our class, so we drew some stumps on the edge of the pavilion. It was 6 and out if you hit it in the tennis court, so you had to play with a bit of control. But they were good summer days.
Potts around the wicket. And Simpson just... I think there was talk amongst us up in the press box we might take it to the outdoor nets tomorrow. Give it a bit of a proper feel for final day's play. See if Kev wilts under the pressure of the nets.
Let's go.
Remember, some of the people who were on our course, Martin Ziegler now, I think he's a sports writer for the Times. He was quite a good cricketer. Damien Spellman's the North East correspondent, sports correspondent for the Press Association.
I get caught on my front foot too much. I'm very happy to get a stride in, as Potts does, and squirts away down to deep point for a single. If you get me coming forward on the front foot, I'm very liable to get a few edges or completely miss it in my night watchman innings I played earlier.
I noticed one of the tactics upstairs was to put the jar of coffee at silly mid-on. Just a bit distracting with its...
It's even more distracting when you put an actual person there.
Yeah.
Very, very distracting indeed. You sort of feel like I can't play that shot anymore.
Bit of a conflab going on out here. I'm going to hand over to Kev because I've got to do teas. So you jump on line, Kev, and I'll turn myself off.
Bit of a, as Martin said, a bit of a conflab, and it's led to a change in the field. Alex Lees ended up going squarer, and Stanley McAlinden coming into extra cover. As Potts over the wicket to Ronan Jones, back of a length, and goes through to the keeper. Ronan Jones choosing to duck under that, slightly down the leg side as well.
Another Roland Jones 50 here would be useful. It'd also be a lot of fun.
What do you reckon would be more fun? Us videoing your entire innings tomorrow?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Sticking it up on Twitter, TikTok, every other social media platform in existence?
I can't believe they missed some of them shots today.
Potts in again, and Ronan Jones plays this onto wide mid-off. I mean, the video they did get was quite good of you cleaning someone up today.
Swinging Yorker, I was proud of that one. He came off his full pace run up as well. Produced a swinging Yorker himself, didn't he?
He did indeed.
He's got clipped for 4.
I think that was one of them that you only just about dug out as well. Very much picking and choosing which shots you give to the listeners here, as Potts is in again, and Ronan Jones leaves this well outside the off stump.
Yeah, but this is well set out here as well. 36 overs tonight. If it goes wrong for either session, then this is a long old session tonight, isn't it? Bat or ball. All right, Middlesex are nearly past the follow-on, but
just 7.
I mean, for the game itself, how did Durham win it from here now?
You skittle Middlesex out for 7 runs and put them back in.
Other than that,
as Potts finishes over, bit of bounce off the pitch, and Ronan Jones withdraws his bat right at the last second to ensure he is safe. End of the over, Middlesex 264 for 6.
Well, that's what Middlesex are hoping for tomorrow. Can they find a bit of that in the pitch? And that's why, can they get close to Durham tonight and try and put them under a third innings? Well, it's what we've been teeing up all day. We're still waiting on it. It's still the closest we are to some sort of pressure building in the game now that Middlesex looks set to avoid the follow-on.
Going back to your question about how did Durham win from here, goes without saying, first port of call is getting Middlesex all out. Ideally, you want them all out
now.
Yeah, but with it only being 7 runs to the follow, I'm not sure whether you would enforce it anyway.
Well, that's the thing. They may not. Yeah. Simpson drives as far as cover off Rushworth. There's no run. Yeah, they, I said to Marty earlier, didn't I? All right, if they get them all out, a deficit 120.
Quick slog.
Yeah, and try and have 2.5 sessions. Because again, what does the defeat mean to Durham yesterday? If they do set 2.5 sessions, 2 sessions for Middlesex to have a go. Middlesex need the win, so they can dangle a carrot. But yeah, it's a fair bit of time to go yet. But things need to start happening now. Bat or ball. There's Rushworth bowl. Simpson works just fine a mid-wicket, and no run again. 264 for 6.
Very quickly, just taken the 1 slip out, and they've just left 1 in. Borthwick at about 2nd slip. I believe it's Bellingham out in the covers.
It's The ground staff on the patrol over the far side. They've just appeared from, is it an ice cream van set up over there? Here's Rushworth around the wicket, bowls. Simpson drives back down the ground, straight to mid-off for 4 runs. Lovely shot. Simpson's on 62, 268 for 6. Interested for a moment. It was mid-off. Yeah, the ground staff. What do you reckon? All been for an ice cream? Marcy's got his binoculars out. There is a van over there, the other side of the health centre.
Just slightly over pitch there from Rushworth, wasn't it? And Simpson set on 58, was never going to miss out on that.
Yeah, mid-off's just a little bit wider. There haven't been money down the ground. There's no... mid-on's quite straight. Ground staff are all at long off now, settling down with the bowling at that end. I'm going to get his ice creams, actually. I can't see any of them with. Rushworth, 4th ball of the over. He bowls short onto the hip, hooked in the air for a moment, but no square leg in place. Deep square collects. It's just a single. Bushnell out there who has a little look back at the ground. Just was going to lose his footing slightly, was he?
I think he had a little slip, potential for an embarrassing moment, but now comes up to a regulation point for Roland Jones.
Well, this is the one with that short boundary on the leg side. Here's Rushworth 2, Roland Jones, and there he goes to the short boundary on the leg side for 4. That wasn't particularly short from Rushworth. Roland Jones just rocked back and decided that's going. He moves to 13. Middlesex to 273 for 6. They're passing the follow-on as well. So 248 the deficit, and it's now a case of...
148 the deficit now.
Sorry, 148 the deficit. It's now a case of what can they do? Again, I think maximum batting points should be... certainly another 80 to get to a 4th batting point should be on their mind. So Rushworth's past the umpire. What's his follow-up? It's line and length delivery. Just full of length. Oh, and a no ball called as well. And they'll get through for a single, and it beats mid-off. And there's a chase on here for mid-on. Middlesex will get 4. Roland Jones keeps the strike. 277 for 6.
Obviously, like you say, batting points should be relatively important now for Middlesex, and also
25 overs to score 125 runs for maximum batting.
5 and over.
It's this partnership and Helm. Helm last week hit.
And also just as a general point, just
Silly on in as well as here's Rushworth. He bowls and Roland Jones steps forward to that one, stepping across the line. Was there a little inside edge on that from Roland Jones? He's gone a long way across. Maybe he just got outside the line of off, actually. 277 for 6.
That's very close. Rushworth's now had 2 LBW shots that have gone down. Just in response to your point, batting points and just getting that deficit down to as little as possible to make Durham's task even harder. You know, if you can get the deficit down to 40, 30, you know, it's not a big enough lead that you're looking at Durham slogging there for a session and a half maybe instead of just a session. You know, just not taking time out of the game in a negative sense, but just protecting yourself from having almost too big of a chase and getting caught in the crossfires of, if you get set 270 in 2.5 sessions, do we go for it, do we not? Potts back in around the wicket and cut Simpson in half. Brilliant start to the over. Little bit of swing, only just missing the top of off. Simpson trying to work that to the leg side, but wasn't there to be worked. Yeah, Middlesex don't want to find themselves caught in a position where they want to have a clear goal in mind if they have a 4th innings of, right, we're going for this, or it's too much, we're just going to sit back and defend. They want to avoid the caught in the crossfire and do we not. Potts in again, and it beats Simpson on the outside edge. 2 very good deliveries to start this over. That one just holding its line and drew Simpson forward into a forward defence, just passing the outside edge.
So if they did it in 25 overs, if they did, let's say it went well, that would still leave 9 overs tonight.
Potts in, and Simpson dabbles this into the ground behind square on the offside and will get 2. Moves him on to 65. So you're saying if they were all out in 25 overs?
No, if they got to 25 overs and pulled out to have, 7 overs at Durham this evening?
Would be
25 overs, try and hit 400 maximum batting points, and then
would be a tricky 7 overs to negotiate.
well, it just gives a chance, doesn't it, for something to happen.
Again, like you mentioned it yesterday, sort of a positive declaration. I think Toby Rowland-Jones spoke about it after the game as well, after the day's play. A positive declaration to move the game forward. That would move the game forward on even more. I would set up day 4 quite enticingly as Potts in again around the wicket, and Simpson drives him, but Rushworth is round from a wide mid-off to stop it. Again, this could be a bit of a lull in the game, or it could be a moving point. I'm going to have to wait and see what happens.
I think this session, things have to happen in this session. If they don't, then it's a draw, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it'll definitely look that way. The overwhelming favourite is Potts in again around the wicket, and Simpson tucks us in down to long leg for a single. A wicket has gone down at Scarborough. Waite has been bowled by Mohammad Abbas. Hampshire have Yorkshire 197 for 5. Bring you some scores from around the grounds after this delivery as Potts strides into Rowland-Jones, back of a length, and a half-hearted appeal for caught behind as Rowland-Jones looked to send Potts over cow corner. Didn't make any contact. End of the over. Middlesex 280 for 6. Quick tour around the rest of the grounds. Nottinghamshire 136 for 3, leading by 233 against Sussex. Yorkshire, as I just mentioned, are 5 down against Hampshire. Lead under 100 for Yorkshire, so one we're losing too many quickly. Somerset 263 for 1. New ball just been taken against Essex, 505 for 9 declared. Tom Abel having to retire on 90 with a hamstring injury, it's been reported. Worcestershire 72 for 5, chasing a target against Derbyshire, needing 217 more runs. Gloucestershire are back in against Northamptonshire, 22 for that loss.
This ball's hooked away down to long leg, start of Rushworth's new over, just short of a length.
Gloucestershire still trailing though by 140 in that game. Down at the Oval, Warwickshire 132 for 3, leading by 69 against Surrey, 7 wickets in hand. And Lancashire going well, 179 for 2 at Old Trafford. They've now pushed themselves into a slender lead of 54 runs with 8 in hand.
Rushworth's over the wicket now to Rowland-Jones. Have a look at this field. There's a silly mid-on in place. Mid-on, mid-wicket, deep square, long leg, slip point, cover and mid-off. And Rushworth in bowls and just short of a length. That's worked out to the deep square for a single. They've run it hard the first, but it shouldn't be any more than one. It's a single it is. He moves to 16.
When you read out the scores and realised your play cricket hadn't refreshed, so all of the scores were wrong.
It hasn't just happened to you, has it?
It has indeed.
Oh, nice. Well done.
Good old play cricket.
282 for 6. The score here now, the deficit 139. Any major advances on what you just read out?
Notts are 6 down, 202 for 6. Yorkshire 200 for 5.
Rushworth around the wicket, bowls, and Simpson's forward, pushing back.
Somerset have moved to 313 for 2. Worcestershire 94 for 5. Gloucestershire 91 for 3. Warwickshire 211 for 4, and Lancs 248 for 2. So effectively, take what I read and at about 70 runs on as a median for everyone involved.
And a wicket here or there.
Yeah, well, take your wickets down to Cheltenham.
1 for 51 Rushworth in his 20th over. Around the wicket to Simpson, who defends, and that bobbles around, bounces around, fizzes around his feet, but falls safely wide of the off stump. He was worried for a moment, Simpson, where that was heading. He's on 67, eyeing a third century of the summer for John Simpson. It'll be the first time he's registered 3. I'm almost 100% in saying. Went through his stats the other week. And if he did get to it, Middlesex would be very close. to Durham's first innings total, and those certainly 350 batting points, thinking about 400. Here's Rushworth, bowls, length ball right behind it. Simpson again, well bowled. Rushworth just keeping to that line and length. Onwards come the 87th. Still more than a session to go today. 33 overs remaining after this, because we're making up time from yesterday. Again, it's a session that if it goes spectacularly wrong for one or the other, then this game could come to life. Middlesex will hope that it comes spectacularly to life with the bat for them. They'll be looking for a replay of last week at Lords. Well, if they do that, smash 200 in a session. Here's Rushworth bowls, and Simpson is beaten. Ball that just seams away from the left-hander from around the wicket. Lovely line and length to end the over from Rushworth, and just straightens off the surface. 282 for 6, and that is the end of the 87th.
Turned him a little bit inside out there, but very good bowling from Rushworth. Obviously a very established campaigner, who's been around the blocker too many times to count really, knows what he's doing in these situations. It'll be Potts to bowl to Roland Jones. 2 slips. Point, a deep third man, long leg, deep backward square, mid on, mid off, and a cover in place. Did see Roland Jones try to hook him over cow corner. It's still open as Potts runs into bowls and does go back of a length to Roland Jones, who can only turn it round the corner to long leg for a single.
Trying to get it final, wasn't he? Really pirouetting there, Roland Jones. Whether Simpson can access that onside of Potts. Will he come around the wicket? Because that would be into Simpson's arc to the short side if he did.
I think he definitely came around the wicket last over. So
deep square and long leg in place. Mid wicket and mid on are up.
Deep point. Michael Jones has just fielded at long leg, now goes back to deep point. As Potts does indeed and continue round the wicket to Simpson. Back of a length down the leg side, and McIntosh with a very good diving stop to stop 4 byes.
Yep, one of those got away a couple of overs back, didn't they? That was a brilliant stop this time. Those strike rates for Simpson 69, Roland Jones 121. Holman was going to run a ball, wasn't he?
Just under, I think, yeah.
Milan before that was going nicely, I think, in the 70s.
So Potts turns and starts his run up in and bowls and full, and just driven back to Rushworth at mid-off. Which
again is the point. Middlesex have tried. They're going at 3.2, and this is the point they're looking to accelerate. So they've tried to go positively to here, and it's cost them 6 wickets. Robson and
Stoneman in the morning session.
No, I was going to say Robson in defence and Holden in defence, but then Stoneman was out playing a shot, wasn't he? Eskenazi was out playing a shot. They've tried.
Stoneman was out chasing a wide one that he didn't quite get enough. Potts in and tucks Simpson up for room. No run.
Well, he was trying to get the scoring rate going, wasn't he? That's what Eskenazi was trying to do. That's what Milan was trying to do. Holman leave him on alone to the new ball. But yeah, it's been, the point is Middlesex have tried. They have tried to push on today. All right, this morning they decided, I think quite rightly, let's put overs into their legs. Let's see off that new ball completely and try and score overs 40 to 80. But where they've tried to score, they've lost wickets.
Potts in again to Simpson. Slightly fuller delivery, and Simpson just defends out into the covers.
But we're reaching that point now, 32 overs to go, where you could really see them thinking about teeing off here.
There is
trying to get going fully. They've got it to 3.2. Can they get? I mean, if they teed off here and it came off, then they're at parity, aren't they? What have they lost? Not a lot. So it is at that stage.
A little bit of in swing there for Potts. Managed to get a few of those. Obviously picked up the wicket before tee with some nice swing movement. Comes back over the wicket to Simpson, who again just defends into the cover region. Ended over Middlesex 283 for 6.
It's just an interesting thing, explain cricket to people that if you try and go at 3.2 and over, you're going to risk losing wickets. You try and go at 4 and over, which is what they're trying to do, risk losing wickets. Durham went along more around that 2.6, 2.7 throughout their innings, didn't they? And then sped it up to just over 3 by the end. Middlesex have been looking to go at around 3 once they got through that stage of Robson and Stoneman trying to put overs into the legs. Once they got through that, they've been trying to go quicker, and they've been going at roughly 3s since then. So just a fraction quicker than Durham, but that does bring wickets. And well, what can they do? We saw Durham trying to hit out, and they lost those 4 wickets, didn't they? 421 for 7, hitting out, lost 4 quick wickets. Middlesex 283 for 6, and they're at that point. There's a long chat there between Roland Jones and Simpson before this Ben Rain over, replacing Rushworth. 1 for 40 from 18 for Rain. Simpson, Roland Jones checks the field. It's just gloomed over a bit here. It feels like there could be a bit of rain around. There's a deep backward square leg in place for Rain to Roland Jones, and this is full, clipped through mid-wicket, and a good stop. It prevents even a single tumbling stop in there. I've missed the deep square as well. There's a deep backward square leg and a deep square.
Short mid-wicket in as well.
Yeah, the orthodox mid-wicket doing the fielding. I was just contemplating that those 2 fielding positions, Rain, whether he would try and go after Roland Jones with some short stuff.
Again, we've seen it as sort of a little bit of a bluff. Will we, won't we? Not started off that way.
Slip goes down, in goes Rain, bowls just full of length. Roland Jones, lovely flowing drive through the covers. Not quite going to make it for 4, mid-off catching up, and they're going to turn for a third. Roland Jones on to 20 from 16. Middlesex 286 for 6. The intent is there now. Chase given out to the boundary by
Potts,
thank you. Number 25?
35.
Is it 35?
It is. Trying to think, is that the same number he has for England? Because I know he started off with 82 for England, and then for the one-off India test, him and Zach Crawley changed numbers. And Zach Crawley went to 6, I believe. Potts went to somewhere in the 30s. I don't know if it was 35 or not.
Hey, I tell you what, it's really gloomed over here. You can imagine if there was going to be a little bit of swing in this ball, it would be now, which wouldn't suit Middlesex as they're trying to hit out. It's only in its 9th over, a bit of lacquer coming off one of the sides. Durham just adjusting the offside field, got a short extra cover in as well as orthodox cover. He's just moving slightly finer, which is offering Simpson. In fact, he's moving all the way to points, so
cover is...
They've got a sweeper in the deep as well.
Oh, well, short cover's now moving back to...
Ooh, all change.
Short cover's moving back to regulation cover, and... You say it's a point?
Backward point, yep. Here's Rain, bowls, full, edged, down to third it goes. And they have a single, a cry of catch. If he was a gully, he'd move to backward point. A gully might have had a go at that. Single more, 287 for 6. The game is afoot at Chesterley Street. Middlesex are looking to charge here. It's likely now. This will go dramatically one of 2 ways, as we've been saying for a while. This is the point. Will wickets tumble quickly as they did in the Durham innings at the end? And they declared 421 for 7 because wickets were falling, the runs weren't coming. Middlesex still 134 behind as they're going to look to hit out. Rain's in, bowls a bouncer, which Roland Jones was late on, so he swayed inside the line of it. He thought about going for the hook on that one in the end, just swayed his body forward, allowed his weight just to fall forward really, and the ball went through. Simpson's coming down to have a chat. Back to the 5-4 field on the leg side. 3 in front of square. Short mid-wicket catching. Deep square and deep backward square. Catching out on the rope. Rain. Not the longest of run-ups for a pacey enough bowler. He's in. Bowls. Good line and length. Just full of length. Roland Jones defends to mid-off. 4 off the over. 1's come of it.
Good from Rain there. Just dragging Roland Jones forward. If he was able to get a little bit of inward movement off the pitch, he would have had him caught in front of all 3.
Light at the moment really suggests there's rain about to pour. Can't see what's over our left shoulder, which I think is where the
more grey clouds,
which is where the sun would roughly be. Rains in, bowls, and Roland Jones respectfully defends back up the track. Takes his 4 for the over, settles on that. 287 for 6, 89 gone, 134 the deficit. Roland Jones 20, Simpson 68.
19 overs for Ben Rain, 5 maidens, 1 for 44, going at just 2.3 and over, and Potts, who's going to bowl another one here, 25 overs, 10 maidens, 1 for 61, going at 2.4. It's an incredible spell in the morning session, wasn't it, where 6 consecutive maidens to start the day from both ends.
I think he started with 4, didn't he, Potts?
Yeah, him and Rushworth really tied Middlesex down as they look to put the squeeze on, and Potts is back around the wicket, full of a length and smacked back to him by Simpson, and maybe a very brief chance at a caught and bowled. The way Potts got up suggests there was maybe got a hand. He definitely got a hand to it. Whether it carried to him on the full,
I don't know. I think it maybe hurt his hand. Look, his left hand. They're coming across to have a look. I mean, the Simpson drive like that. Whoa, that was
down very low.
Simpson would have felt that was 4 off the bat. Yeah, it's hurt his left hand, Potts, but it's not his bowling hand. On he'll go.
Starts his run up again. Bowls, and Simpson looks for a drop and run. There's maybe a chance at the There looks for a drop and run, and Roland Jones has come halfway down the wicket, maybe just shy of halfway. And if Potts had turned around and had a shy at the stumps, there was a chance, but he didn't, and Roland Jones was able to recover his ground.
All light meters out in the media centre.
Right on the cusp.
Right on the cusp, says Marcy. Floodlights haven't got on yet.
Potts takes a look at the ball, turns and starts. In and bowls, and clipped into the leg side. There was a misfield at mid-wicket which allows them to scamper through for single. I believe it's McAlinden, sorry. It was McAlinden at mid-wicket.
McAlinden's that one from the American TV shows, and he used to make things. That was MacGyver. McAlinden. What was the other great one up here? There was a debut Middlesex game, and everyone was running around on the morning to figure out the pronunciation for him. Who was it? Was it Brad Whale? James Whale. What was it?
I'm going to say
Brad Wheel's the Hampshire guy, isn't
I'm going to say Brad Wheel's a very easy name to pronounce.
Yeah. It was Wheel or Whale that we're trying to figure out up here.
If they put him out for the post day's play, and you can ask him. Potts back over the wicket to Roland Jones. Full delivery, and Roland Jones creams him through the covers for 4. Very foolish delivery by Potts. I think it ended up turning out being a low full toss, and Roland Jones decided not having any of that. Back to the fence you go.
They put 40 on since tea. Well, they put 200 on after tea last week. These pair.
Potts kicked where he followed through in disgust at that, annoyed at himself. Just way too full and outside off stump, and Roland Jones gave him the works.
Talks about Simpson having his finest hour with the bat this year. This hasn't been a bad season bat and ball for Roland Jones.
Potts in again, back of a length, and Roland Jones absolutely launches him. Doesn't get all of it. Will get 2 as he looks to send him over to cow corner. Slightly back of a length from Potts, and Roland Jones picked it up straight away and freed the arms and looked to send him all the way into stand over to our right. Didn't quite catch all of it, but as you say, definite shift in the plan from Middlesex here.
Well, I don't think it is a shift in the plan. I think 8 overs since tea.
He's added, 42 now?
I don't think it is a shift in plan. I think this was the plan all along, just to step up the gears as the day.
Potts in again, and Roland Jones defends this one.
Yeah, the question was put this morning, why are they going so slowly? And the reason they were going so slowly this morning was that they felt it was a day that, you have an arc, and it'll be quite a sharp arc at the end in terms of the scoring rate. That's what their plan is.
To use a musical term, wanted to start off diminuendo and use a crescendo to get right to the top.
There you go. That was the plan. And this is a crunch point. It either comes off now or it doesn't. Again, it didn't come off for Durham when they tried to hit out. Does it come off for Middlesex? Well, Simpson's on 69, Roland Jones is on 26. They're trying to make a game of it in this final session on the 3rd day, trying to get up around that Durham score. Whether they'd get to 400 and pull out just to have a bowl tonight. If it went well, they're on 294 for 6. I mean, it's an awfully long way away, but that is the aim. That right now is the aim. They're thinking, right, 400 in the next 20 overs, which gets you maximum batting points, and you might even have a little bowl at Durham tonight. I'll tell you what, in these conditions as well, you wouldn't mind it.
Because a deep point has just moved to a deep cover. You've got a deep 3rd man in play, 2 men back on the off leg side as well.
This ball's full and driven by Simpson, fielded in the covers. Important stop in there, which prevented at least a couple by Beddingham. There's a sweeper out in the deep, which is Maddinson. And what do we say? They've scored 40, how many off 8 overs from T?
42.
42 in 8 overs. And do that off the next 16. Then they're up at 400, aren't they? And that's still 14 overs tonight to bowl. So, yeah. Helm next and Yadav, they can both hit the ball a long, long way as well. Here's Rain around the wicket, bowls, and Simpson chops late down to deep third, 295 for 6. But as we've seen on this pitch, scoring runs quickly is very, very difficult. And Simpson's in on 70 and Roland Jones on 26. So it really feels like hinges on this. A lot to ask Helm to come out and do it again this week. I think Yadav hit his first ball for 6 last week as well at Lords. But you know, it's asking Lightning to strike twice for this partnership to again do what they did after tea at Lords last week.
Who was it in the Kent game last week? I think it might have been Matt Henry or someone.
Did a Roland Jones, did he?
No, he came out and faced one ball, hit it for 6.
Nice.
Hit it for 6 and immediately declared afterwards. I think it might have been Matt Henry, not sure.
Rain to Roland Jones, short mid-wicket and a slip. Roland Jones is forward and clipping, not fully, watchfully, to mid-on, no run.
Another wicket has gone down at Scarbados.
Oh yeah, go on.
Tattersall has been caught by Ian Holland off the bowling of Mohammed Abbas. Yorkshire now 210 for 6.
Go on. What's the lead? Or deficit? Which way around are they now?
Lead will be getting up to just about 100 for Yorkshire. I want to find this Kent thing. I want to make sure I'm right.
Rain to Roland Jones. He bowls and Roland Jones digs it out back up the track. No run. Oh, Marty's coming back. You might have a half an hour break to find it out. Who's warming up at slip? Oh, Borthwick's warming up. Skipper's thinking, right, let's see if he can hit this Roland Jones. Bit of leg spin. That'd be an interesting move. How long have you got, Marcy, Rob? The hook's out. Don't know how long you've got here. You might have to give us a thumbs up that your stat was right. It's his Rain. 2 balls left of his 20th one for 45. Gentle approach, strong arm and a clip. Strong over mid-wicket by Roland Jones for 4 more. Middlesex at 299 for 6. Roland Jones is on to 30. The deficit 122. The fun begins at Chestley Street. We've had to wait a while. It's been fun. You know, it's what's happened up to now has been good cricket by both sides. Jones batted exceptionally well for Durham. Middlesex bowled well. I think Durham have bowled exceptionally well today, and Middlesex have responded with a bat.
To clear up the Yorkshire lead, it's past 150.
There we go.
Yorkshire lead past 150, and I'm going to stick by my Matt Henry 6 off 1.
Rain to Roland Jones. Heaves him over the offside this time. How much has he got of it? It felt a little inside out, so it might plug. They've taken 2, and they'll think about the third, but they'll settle on 2. That's the 300 up for Middlesex. They're 301 for 6 in the 91st over. They will be very much thinking in the next 20 overs of putting on another 100, which will bring this game to life, you fancy. Just to put a little bit of pressure on Durham late tonight and early tomorrow morning. We shall see. 70 for Simpson. He'll have strike. Roland Jones has 32. Thanks to Rob for now. The umpires are having a chat about the lights. Don't do it, umpires, because this game's just about to spring into life. We're all right. We're going on for now. This would be a disaster. Floodlights should be going on for sure. Maybe that was the conversation. Do we need them yet? Do we put them on?
Yeah, they'll have sent a signal to the scorers to get the lights turned on, so somebody has to run round to the car park and go into the generator room and flick the switch.
Get on the bike.
It's not. It is slightly scientific. The light meter app that I've got is generally roughly. You can tell normally when it gets to 300 lux, that's when they're on the fringes of either A, putting the floodlights on,
300
or B,
what?
lux.
Lux.
Yeah,
LUX. Lux. Okay, Lux, yeah.
So that's normally when they would consider going off, or if there's floodlights, putting them on. And there's obviously only Worcester that doesn't have floodlights these days on the main county ground.
Provincial sloppiness.
Yeah. Apparently, they reckon it would ruin the view of that old church across the river. Rushworth round the wicket here. bowls. Played away by Simpson. This partnership as well, having got to 301. They're a run away from the 50 partnership.
Bowl's just full of length to Simpson. That ball's eased away into the offside. How far can Middlesex take this tonight? Floodlights haven't come on just yet. Does it take a while, does it, for them to start?
Well, they've got to someone car park to turn on. There, they're coming on now.
Oh, there we go. What are they like, the way they flicker into life, those lights? It's like a Christmas tree with the flickering lights. Except they all stay on once they flicker. Boom, 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 boom. Rushworth around the wicket. And Simpson clips him very attractively. Deep square setback, just a single.
50 partnership.
71 for him. And 50 partnership in 61 deliveries. 42 minutes.
Yeah, Middlesex have upped the gear after tea. They've just put on 50 runs in around 10 overs. The partnership value there for John Simpson, who's on 71, and at the other end, Toby Rowland-Jones, who's on 32. They've also just gone past their third batting point. They're currently 302 for 6, and at the moment they trail Durham by 119. We've still got 28 overs left in the day, so that's just under 2 hours, so plenty of action yet to come. But it's gloomy here, and the floodlights have just gone on.
Nice little clip by Rowland-Jones for a couple more through mid-wicket. And 304 for 6. 96 more runs. And an immediate declaration, Marty, or 96 more runs and then really throw the kitchen sink at it. Or 4 more quick wickets and it's all irrelevant anyway. Rushworth to Rowland-Jones, he bowls and Rowland-Jones drives handsomely but only as far as cover. One to come of the over. Really hope that the umpires don't haul us off tonight. I hope the light holds. We need all of these 28 overs this evening and all of the 96 tomorrow.
I'm happy to come off now.
You are.
It's raining, isn't it? Is it raining?
Cost you an extra hour and 10 minutes work tomorrow night if they don't come off now. If they come off now, you can place your bets now on the 10 to 5 finish tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's about bonus points for them at the minute, isn't it? So, Rushworth in. It's left alone by Rowland-Jones outside the off stump, end of the over. So there's still 28 overs to go tonight, and what have we got? That's 18 overs for another 2 batting points. Ollie Gibson just down below on drinks duties, and Liam Travaskis on 12th man duties as well.
10 wickets I went for today. Still a chance if we have the full 28 overs. How many did you go for?
4. I went for 4 or 5, didn't I? Oh, there's 6 now, so yeah.
5:05 on a mid-summer's afternoon at Chesterley Street, or evening now. The floodlights are on. There are glimpses of blue around the sky to give us hope that we won't be hauled off. There's a glimpse of that grey sky coming over our head. We can just see it creeping over in front of us off towards Lumley Castle at the moment. Here's Borthwick now. Right arm over to the left-handed Simpson, who'll be hitting with the spin to the big boundary or inside out to the short boundary. It was the Badgers googly that got Holden earlier today, wasn't it? Either that or it just slid on across him. Here he comes, bowls, and Simpson rocks back and slams him into the onside, and it thumps into mid-wicket, which is...
Jonathan Bushnell's in there.
Bushnell, thank you. Wasn't on the original scorecard, so he was actually. There he is, number 20, JJ Bushnell. Rowland-Jones on strike then with the single. Simpson's on 72, 305 for 6, 116 for the deficit is the deficit. Borthwick's in. Bowls. Oh, that bounces on Roland Jones, and he just has to ride the bounce into the onside. This, Marty, is why we need a minimum of 14 first-class games a season. It's the middle of the summer, and this game's just simmering nicely now, right? It might settle down to a draw tomorrow, but it's simmering nicely. But if we lose a lot of time to bad light tonight, this game's dead, as Roland Jones goes forward, pushing back into the offside, no run. And if you only have 10 games a season, you can't think, oh yeah, we'll have a good few of them in July and August and all will be fine. No. The English summer does not work like that. They must not reduce the schedule in this country. It will be catastrophic. Here's Borthwick bowls. This is pushed back to mid-wicket. No run. Prime example of it on July 27th here at Chesterley Street. We've already lost half a day to rain. If we lose a session now to light as well. Borthwick bowls. Roland Jones over the top of it. Just nicely strokes down to long on a single. On to 35. 306 for 6.
Should have 16 championship matches and everybody should play each other twice.
Yep. Same schedule as this year, just throw a couple of games into August next year as well, first class, and all will be well, folks.
As somebody once said, down with this nonsense. Or was it down with this sort of stuff?
Forward goes Simpson, over the top of it, just runs it, cross slip, and to the vacant deep third he'll take 2 on 74. 308 for 6. Good sensible cricket like that as well. There's singles to be had all round, aren't there, with the boundary protectors out on the ropes all around. There's a single here and a couple there. What did they take? Just 4 off that over, but even still, it's fine. That first ball of the over could have been a yard at either side of mid-wicket, and it was 4. But Rushworth to bowl to Roland Jones. He does score so well all around the ground, Roland Jones, not just targeting a short boundary. A big boundary that he launched to at Lord's last week, goodness me.
Oh, controversy.
Where?
The Lake District.
Go on.
One of our favourite pubs, which was handy to pull into just down the lane for a drink on the riverbank. They're now charging £5.20 to park there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a pint.
No, that's
£6.20 a pint.
Yeah.
Cost of living crisis, Marcy.
Rushworth then from the Finkel end, right arm over, bowled. Oh, that's got to be plumb. That's absolutely plumb. That's as plumb as a plumb line in a shipyard. It never got up. Never got up. Jones has gone for 35, and Rushworth now needs 1 for 600, doesn't he?
Well, that's a shame for the game. Roland Jones gone for 35. Helm can hit out. Oh, Simpson's not walking off, is he? No, he's not. He's walking off to meet Helm. Umpires come together to have a chat. Come on, umps. Come on, umps. Nobody wants to come off right now. Everybody wants to play cricket. Don't let this iffy light get in the way of things. It's 308 for 7. Yeah, just good line and length bowling. Nip one back. Didn't really get up at all, did it? Let's have another look. We've enjoyed our rock and roll this week, haven't we, Marty?
Applause for Toby Roland Jones. 93.1 overs gone. And the partnership ended at 56. They trail by 113.
I think that's out, Marty.
Helm, eh?
I think that's out.
I think that's out about 5 times.
308 for 7.
That reminded me of the LBW that Otis Gibson got Kevin Peterson with in the one-day final at Lord's in 2007.
Given not out.
It was absolutely so plumb. Peterson didn't even wait for the finger to go.
Oh, what did he go?
Walking off.
Yeah.
Otis Gibson got 2 wickets for the first 2 balls in the match, and then came back to get Kevin Peterson a little bit later on. So Tom Helm is the new man at the helm. Is he any good on a yacht? Last ball of the over, Rushworth in, bowls, defended. So his next wicket will be his 600th in first class cricket.
He has a stern defence.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was just the start of the over, wasn't it? I was looking at the wrong column, and when I saw 1 ball, I thought it meant 1 ball left, but I was looking in the wrong column. So this is what's Rushworth now? 2 for 54. This is his 22nd over, 7 maidens. broken every bowling record going for Durham. Comes in again, and this is played away up on the toes there by Helm, to short leg / short square leg area. So Rushworth, now 36 years, released by Durham in 2006, re-signed in 2010 after 2 or 3 seasons with Sunderland in the North East Premier League. PCA Player of the Year in 2015, that was the year he got 83 first-class wickets and 100 in all formats.
You're thinking he's getting it here, aren't you?
I think he's going to. Well, in these conditions. Comes in and bowls. Bit of a slower delivery that time, played back past the bowler to Potts, just behind the stumps at mid-on. I'm just looking through his stats. So he had, going into this game, 597 first-class wickets, so he's taken 2 in the match. So that's now 594 for Durham. He actually achieved the club record of the most first-class wickets, 500 against Worcestershire last year. He has 574 championship wickets and 805 in all formats. This is played out into the covers for a quick single. 30 times he's got a fifer. 5 times he's got 10 in a match, including 11 for 106 against Derbyshire this year. And then the other statistics, 50 wickets in a season 6 times, including last year. Graham Onions had been the record wicket taker for Durham with 527 first class, and then Simon Brown prior to that had 518. Rushworth round the wicket to Simpson. Oh, the ball's played down into the ground, and Simpson, in a panic, pedals backwards and is looking around to see where it's gone, and it bounces up around about the height of the peak of his cap and his helmet and drifts away.
If the ball bounces up like that and Simpson rushes around in a panic and the fielder comes rushing in, Simpson does a little step over and kicks it the other way from him, are they allowed to run a single?
Not if you've kicked it, you're not, no.
You're not allowed to kick the ball away?
Yeah, but you can't then run.
You sure?
It's a dead ball then, isn't it?
If you've kicked it?
Yeah.
So he plays it down into the ground?
What he could do is play it down into the ground, and then as the fielder comes in, head it away, then he can run.
He obviously can't hit it away again, he can't hit ball twice. It's handle-ball, that was the famous Graham Gooch one.
Well, Sean Dixon was the last man to get out to handling the ball, wasn't he, before they changed the law?
What did they change the law to? You can handle it
obstructing the ball or something? Obstruction or something?
Here's Rain to Helm and a bouncer.
Hello.
There it goes. But if the ball bounces down up into the air, Simpson's watching it, he's heading back towards the stumps, and he thinks, oh, hold on a minute, right, I need to kick this way. He kicks it, other side of point. Can they run a single?
No, because the moment he's kicked it, it's a dead ball.
Okay, good man. Short extra cover and short mid-wicket crouch down. Slip goes down as well, and Rain bowls. Helm's forward, driving to mid-on. No run. Very useful bat, Tom Helm, but that's the thing. You get, like I say, last week he did come out and hit 3 6s and 3 4s to push Middlesex along, but asking him to do it again here. Got to get himself in. Tricky conditions at the moment. Not great light. Floodlights on. Ball only in its 15th over. Durham looking to wrap this up with a lead currently of 112. I mean, 3 go quickly here. Durham leading by 112. I mean, you're not going to come out and really attack Middlesex in this light from the top, are you, and find yourself in a mess. It still feels like Middlesex with a bat at the side that could push this on tonight. As Rain bowls and Helm up on his toes, looks to punch into the offside, missed times, and short extra cover comes in to collect.
Where do you start the One Day Cup?
That's a very good question, Martin. I shall have a look now and see. I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
If I'd actually looked at the fixtures properly, I just had in the back of my mind that Durham were playing Middlesex last week. If I'd actually looked at them and concentrated, because I only go from sort of like 2 or 3 week spells in the season, I could have gone on holiday last week, didn't have a game.
I just did my invoices for last month and realised the amount of time that I didn't work covering a Middlesex game last month. So, well, it's June.
Oh, the Blammer's back out. I think it's Ben and Mark, the groundsman, who are coming out with the kit. I've got a hammer as well as a blammer. Here we go. Look at the upper body strength for that, Kev. It's a big ramrod with a flat base at the bottom, and they hammer it into the ground. Hammering away with a mallet as well. If I'd known, I could have brought me camping mallet this morning and helped them out. Listen to this mallet action. Mallet action in Dolby surround sound. What key do you reckon that is? Key of C? Possibly a sign of just how dry things are, that the footholds at either end today have needed a bit of work during the innings.
Yeah, taking a bit of time. It's brightened up at least.
Yeah.
That's given a bit of time for the covers, for the clouds to move along. So yeah, brightened up a fair bit actually, which is good news because we want a fair bit of this tonight.
Jokers to the right of us, clouds to the left of us.
Who's to the right?
Jokers, wasn't it?
I'm looking to see which jokers are to our right.
Yeah. But they're heading off now.
Oh, round of applause. Well done, lads.
Wonder if they'll get bonus money for that. Blammer carrying.
Helm dabs this one down to square leg and get a single. We move to 2. Blammer time.
Anything going on, Kev?
Not Fred Titmus says declaring behind has become unfathomably fallen out of has unfathomably fallen out of fashions. Around the wicket goes Rain, bowls to Simpson, left alone through to the keeper. If play did end now for the day, the obvious thing to do would be to declare overnight. It's fortunately brightened up a bit. Just have a look. It must be that stuff that is immediately above the ground now that just darkens things a little, but it feels as though it's brightened up again, so hopefully we'll be okay.
Pied Wagtails have arrived. Time is at 5:20. Coming down for their tea.
Is that right?
Yeah. There's
Are you
6 or
making
7.
out?
No, they're down there. 6 or 7 of them down there now.
This one's just full of length from Rain. Oh, wide signals. 3-11 for 7. Let's go again.
3, 4, 5, 6.
You count in the fields.
No, the birds 7, 8,
Oh.
9. 9 of them at the minute. They come down to eat insects and grubs.
God, I wish we had them all here that night we did our first commentary together.
Oh yeah.
Infestation there wasn't there?
Yeah. Well, they were all melting off the floodlights and falling in through our open window, weren't they? It was a hot night as well. Thousands of charred flies all over the windowsill. And midges.
Rain bowls into the pads of Simpson, falls away past the keeper and they'll get a leg by. It sounded like there were 2 noise. Maybe it was the bat on the pad. No, it was bat on ball. And 312 for 7 at the end of the over. Middlesex trail by 109. There are 95 overs gone. This can't slow Middlesex down too much if they want to still think about maximum batting. They've got, 15 overs to get to 350. That should be fine unless they fall in a heap. Maybe they take a conservative approach now and get to the 350 with only 3 wickets left. But again, Simpson's on 75. He's got to be thinking about a third 50. A third century of the summer.
The Association of Cricket Statisticians have just retweeted Kaustub Gudipati's tweet, a bizarre scorecard from Estonia against Switzerland. Didn't know that was on today, I would have got a ticket. Rushworth round the wicket, that's left alone from the Finkel end. This is in the Europe sub-regional qualifying match today. So Estonia chasing 174 in 20 overs. They didn't win, they lost. But the opening batsman got 69 not out. The next 3 got ducks, and then the next batsman, Stuart Hook, got 69 not out. So you have 69, 0, 0, 0, 69. Who did Stuart Hook play for? I heard that name. .312 for 7. Rushworth bowling to Simpson. Comes in and bowls. Simpson drives hard, and that's gone back through between mid-on and mid-off and up to the boundary for 4, just to our left.
Yeah, you fancy, say Simpson, if it's there now, hit it. Middlesex need to get the scoring rate up, don't they? Keep it up. .316 for 7. Rushworth around the wicket again.
Comes in. Played to the covers this time to Borthwick, no run. Rushworth. The Yorker length ball. It's ended up being overpitched, and it's driven again by Simpson down back past the bowler. It's cut off at 2 by Potts. Simpson moves on to 81. Looking set for a century here. We had a 206 from Jones. We had a 62 from Beddingham, a 55 from Borthwick, and a 46 from Lees. That was the Durham innings. The highest score so far of the dismissed batsman from Middlesex was Holden with 47. And Simpson with 81 here now. 24.2 overs left today as well. Rushworth comes in and bowls, and that's left outside the off stump.
Resisted that one, no slip in place.
It's all part of a cunning plan, you see.
I was expected to see that bottom hand come powering down from Simpson.
Interesting article in the Cricketer magazine, which Hugh Turbeville's written, which I've responded to, as Rushworth comes in. Oh, slow loopy Yorker, and it's driven out into the covers, stopped by Borthwick. He's going to need some non-bio, and quite a lot of it, to get all the stains out of his whites. That's the end of the over. The article is basically the Flintoff's Field of Dreams. Freddie Flintoff's Field of Dreams on the BBC. So Hugh, the editor, has written an article saying he's celebrating Andrew Flintoff's Field of Dreams, but asks why the BBC's interest in cricket remains so flaky. There's an addendum to that. It says BBC TV's benefit to cricket over many of the last 23 years has been negligible. Why do they not want to show tests? So I responded and I said the radio coverage is second to none, however. And he said, yes, it is. That is in the piece.
You didn't read the piece, did you? Helms on strike, in comes Rain, Helm defends. Ball trickles away through square leg for a single, gets Simpson on strike. Sun's coming out at Chesley Street, great news. Go on, keep going.
I didn't read the piece, but I wasn't inferring that it wasn't in the piece either. I'm just pointing out that I'm sticking up for us. John Milligan says it's the best commentary system for any sport currently.
Oh.
Thomas says I have Sky and BT, but nothing beats the radio, TMS and the county coverage. It gets me through the summer.
Gets us through the summer as well, doesn't it, Marcy? Gets us through the year, doesn't it? You go into hibernation for a month when the season's done, is it?
I'd said to Hugh, I said, yeah, I'll read it when this match finishes today at about 11 p.m. And Hugh says BBC Radio has been a loyal partner to cricket, but the BBC TV not so much. And I said, yes, hence BBC TV's push to promote the 100 and get involved with that.
Rains around the wicket here to Simpson. And bowls good line of length, which Simpson eases into the offside.
I remember, everybody harks back to the halcyon days of when Test match cricket was on the BBC, and then it was on Channel 4 for a few years, and people cite the 2005 Ashes series and how that was captivating, and it was on Channel 4 and it was on free-to-air TV. I remember many times during that summer watching that series, and I think I might have had a box from On Digital if they hadn't gone under by then. But there were numbers of times when Channel 4 Racing came on an afternoon and replaced the Test match, and the Test match went on to another channel. You had to search around to find it. People forget those things. Racing was still considered more important than Channel 4 back in the day than the cricket was.
Rain around the wicket, he bowls. Forward goes Simpson, no run.
Scott Wilson says the county radio coverage is terrific, especially as I assume it is done on a limited budget. I do think we need to talk about TMS.
It's a fair assumption, my friend.
And he says he's struggling to listen to TMS these days, in his opinion, for whatever reason. He says there's too much personal chat. He hasn't been listening to this then, has he?
Rain bowls a bounce. That's got to be a no ball, isn't it? Yeah, calls. 321 for 7.
We've reached 5:30. Floodlights blazing away. Some kind of electric machine I can hear in the distance. Could be somebody blowing up a paddleboard with a little compressor that you stick in the car.
Bouncer again from Rain. Through it goes. 321 for 7.
Well, some news from the front lines of the picket lines today.
Oh yeah.
Sam Tarry, who's the Labour MP for Ilford South, went to stand on a picket line with striking rail workers and has now been sacked as the Shadow Transport Minister by Sir Keir Starmer. Some breaking news there. I think the Labour MPs were instructed not to go onto picket lines, and some have chosen to do so. They certainly did the last week or two ago.
Simpson rocks back, pulls through mid-wicket. It bursts through the hand of a tumbling fielder out there as well, coming around, which is the number 20, I think, Bushnell.
28.
28 is it? Thank you. Picks himself up.
Oh no, 20 Bushnell, yeah.
So Simpson moves to 85. 325 for 7.
That was one of those awful ones where you knew you were going to be off balance and top heavy, head forward as well, trying to stop the ball that was racing away, and he looked to try and get down and drag it backwards with his hands in a cup, but it went through him. It's always a tricky one at this time of the day.
Rain to Simpson. He drives nicely wide of mid-off, single take, and didn't quite get all of it, just the one run. Oh, overthrows. If Helm's looking, it wouldn't have been actually. Running in from the deep backward point boundary, backing up was Jones, which I just made sure that there wouldn't have been any more actually, because it would have been a huge risk to run at that one. End of the over. 326 for 7. Middlesex 24 from a 4th batting point.
Yeah. At what point do I dial into tees? Because quite often I just end up sitting there listening to lots of roadworks and traffic jams in Teesside when I could be commentating on here.
Aye. Can't you put them in both ears? Can't you just carry on here and one ear on that?
I do that, but if there's somebody here, then I can go off to another corner in the room.
You can go off to another corner if you want. I can carry this and go through the scores elsewhere. It's been a struggle.
Can I trust you to do a good job?
Well, I didn't say that. Oh, it's like the old days, on your own, labouring through. Now here's McAlinden. Right arm over, he bowls, short. Oh, Simpson heaves him over mid-wicket. 6 runs, Simpson's on to 92. Middlesex are 332 for 7. If they go back to the short stuff here to Simpson, this could be great fun. Middlesex might well still have an eye on 400 inside the 110. Marty's tuned in. There's traffic jams in Darlington. A great few minutes coming up, Marty. All the way to our right hand side there. Here's Simpson on 92 and McAlinden, who's going an economy of 6.2 and over. He's in now, bowls, and up on his toes. Simpson defends into the offside, no run. Respectfully done. Middlesex batsmen have scored 16 centuries against Durham, with the highest being 190, shared by O.A. Shah and Nick Compton. Shah made his at Chesterley Street in a draw in 2001. Compton came in 2006 at Lord's in another draw. Would you? But you wouldn't have been there in 2006, that one, would you? I would have been watching that. Well, the 16-11 have been at Lord's. There's a length delivery to Simpson, push back, and there's no run. How many at Uxbridge? Where have you had a 4-day game against Middlesex other than Lord's, or have you in your time covering? You haven't. It's always been Lord's. Oh. Should ask Kev James about it. He always gets his 4-day game sent to Uxbridge or somewhere, and has a big old whinge at it. Waits for Gus Fraser to walk past the tent, has another whinge about it. McAlinden bowls, and down the leg side to Simpson. Good take, good tumbling stop. 3-3-2 for 7. Strike rate of 70 for Simpson. A run rate this innings 3.5. Can they get it up to 4? This one's short, outside off. Dies a little across Simpson, that one. Through it goes to the keeper. Simpson rueful that he didn't manage to get it away. Last ball of the 12th, McAlinden. The last ball of McAlinden's 12th, I should say. Bowls to Simpson, goes full, clipped through mid-wicket for 4. Leg stump half volley, Simpson's on to 96. Middlesex at 336 for 7. Lovely shot by Simpson, right into the slot though from McAlinden. 2 for 73 for the youngster now from 12. But a crucial couple of wickets picked up early on. Did a fine job for his team this morning and today. No shame at all in his performance. He's gone at 6s, but Middlesex have been ruthless with him at times. They've had to be, because at the other end it has been pretty tight overall. Rain's gone at 2.8, 1 for 62 from 12 for him, with 5 maidens. Helms on strike to him. Long old chat. Put mid off and mid on. Rain is in, starting his 20-30 bowls. Helm clips. Back to a square on the leg side. Think about 2 here, just the single. Helms on to 4. Actually doing a good job here. Not a bad idea, actually, just nudge the single, give the strike to Simpson. He's on 96, John Simpson. Middlesex fans don't want to tempt fate, but if he goes to 3 figures, you might want to send through a few tweets, John Simpson, at Kevin Hand BBC. And his best year with the bat. Let's keep Middlesex up there in the table. Let's keep them alive in this match. Rain's around the wicket to him. There's a silly mid-off in place. Rain goes full, outside off. Simpson resists. moment's pause. Simpson checks the field. 96 from 134. Now he's racked up the runs this year. Rain bowls, full, outside off, resisted. Oh, wide signals. 3-3-8 for 7 in the 99th. Simpson comes and prods away at the surface. He's talked about how he's just tweaked something in the winter, where he approaches the game mentally. Really does feel like he's coming to the peak of his powers. Very fit player, looks after himself very well, John Simpson. Strong player as well. Rain comes around the wickets from the lonely end, bowls a length ball left alone outside off. And Simpson's earned this right just to take his time through to the 3 figures now. Strike rate in the 70s, an incredible innings from him again. And with that one against Sussex when his side were in deep trouble. A century in a low scoring game at Cardiff, and now here at Durham. We've seen a double ton in the hosts' 421 for 7. Jones from the off. Simpson coming in at 6. Recovering another position for his side, and they only trail by 83 now. As Rain is midway through his run up around the wicket. He bowls, and Simpson's beaten by a good line and length. Pushes forward, that one lifts past the edge. Comes and kicks away at some dirt. Prods at the surface. Whatever that mental change was for him, I'm sure he'll be going through that now. Relaxation in between deliveries, taking a breath. Big change of field here for Durham. They've got a slip. Deep third. They've got a gully quite wide and a backward point for Simpson. A cover and a mid-off, mid-on, and a deep square. Here's Rain. Bowl. Simpson leaves alone. Through to the keeper. There is one to come of the over. I'm missing a deep cover point. That was where the other fielder is. A 7-2 field. Can't remember the last time I described a 7-2 field. Tracks of late have all been 5-4 fields or 6-3 at worst. A 7-2 field at the moment as they look to hang it just outside off to Simpson. Slip, the wide gully and the backward point, who are very close to each other, those two crouched down. Rain, last ball of the over. He bowls, he puts the tempter outside off, and Simpson takes it. Through the covers it goes. Simpson moves to 100. 3rd time this season for the Middlesex wicket-keeper. His finest year, a vintage year for Simpson. He takes off the helmet, raises the bat to the dressing room. Boy, oh boy, he's batting out of his skin at the moment. 100 from 138 deliveries, 184 minutes, 11 fours and a 6. And the Middlesex wicket-keeper holding it together again and in good form, and perhaps giving himself and his side a chance to turn things around on this, the 3rd evening. 3:42 for 7 at the end of the over. 99 gone. There are 21 overs remaining tonight. John Simpson bags another century. So a little bat raise there, I think, to the ground staff from John Simpson. Vic would have been there giving him a long clap at the end of the over. Know each other well over the years. Here's Helm playing his part, 4 from 10. He's just nudging those singles at the moment. This ball's full, outside off stump. Dies a little on Helm and there's no run. Thanks to Steve Fletcher, who's just confirmed to me. I did say that I checked the other week and he's never scored 3 in a season. And indeed he hasn't. He scored 2 in 2019, hitting 843 runs at 42. This season he has 613 runs so far, excluding this game, at 55. It is by far his best season, so he's on to 713 runs, just 140 shy of his career best in a season. This ball's short down the leg side to Helm. Through it goes to the keeper. So first time in his career that Simpson scored 3 in a season, and well done him. He has been brilliant to watch this year, he really has. Still 3 games to go. You're thinking of 1,000 runs for the first time in a season for Simpson. McAlinden in. Ball. Bowls, Helm, clips him. That's a nice looking shot. Oh, good tumbling stop at mid-on, low to his right there. It's a fine diving effort by Rushworth. Holds them to a single. Helm won't mind too much though. Gives the strike to Simpson on 100. And well, this is the match-up again. 3 balls to go in the over. Simpson has strike to McAlinden, who's going at sixes. 2 for 74 from 12.3. He's gone to his century. Does he launch now, Simpson, to try and get Middlesex to the 400? The 4th batting points in touching distance. 7 runs away with 3 wickets standing. They've got 10 overs to find, well, 10.3 overs to find another 57 runs. Much of that will hinge on John Simpson. But again, Yadav in next. Ian Helm will look to go at it if Simpson were to fall. Here's McAlinden, he bowls, and Simpson leaves alone. A full ball outside off. Deep third, deep point, deep square, and long leg of the 4 back. 5 in on the single. Simpson steps away again, takes a deep breath. Just the one off the 4 balls of the over so far. Simpson has a look at that short leg side, settles over his bat. McAlinden, with 2 balls of the over left, moves in, he bowls, and just full of a length, Simpson runs it to backward point, no run. Good over from McAlinden, under pressure the last over. 2 balls at Helm, then a single, 2 balls at Simpson. So you just chop the single, take 2 for the over. This ball only 20 overs old. Bowling conditions, they've eased a little, it's brightened up a bit, even though the floodlights are belting down still. Last ball of the over, McAlinden bowls, and Simpson turns to mid-wicket. A dot ball, just the single off the over from young McAlinden. Good from him. Middlesex fans, at Kevin Hand BBC. I'm sure there's plenty you'd love to say about John Simpson. First time in his career he's hit 3 centuries in a season, and far from done yet, you'd fancy. It's been brilliant to watch from him all year long. He's been masterful out there in the middle. Always is with the gloves. Masterful this year with the bat as well. Tony Bishop says, I'm on holiday in Jersey but glued to the Middlesex stream. Magnificently well played, John Simpson, yet again. And The Void says, I refer you back to my previous tweets. These brackets are hereby unhexed. Let's have a look. Plays every format, never misses a game, takes screamers, top batter, falls as I type. Gah. Simo is awesome. That was 5 days ago. Was that in the... Thank you, The Void. That was during the Sussex game 5 days ago. Jeremy Lawrence says, it's staggering just how consistent John Simpson is. Unflustered glove work, and his batting gets better and better. Here's Borthwick to Helm, who rocks back and pulls into the onside. It gets past the mid-wicket. They'll get a couple here at least. And yes, they go for the couple. This might be the over for Helm to open up as well. He's played it nicely for Simpson so far. To the leg spinner, does he go after that short leg side? He's heroic to the bat last year. Jeremy continues, desperately unlucky not to get more international recognition, just a handful of ODIs. This ball's turns onside again, a cry of catch from Borthwick as Simpson comes on to strike and Helm moves to 8. Watching a fab century in Spain, says Jeremy. Simpson once again proving he's the best in the business, says Biff. At Kevin Hand BBC, Middlesex fans. He's a player who doesn't often get the adulation and recognition he deserves. Simpson, because he goes so quietly about his work behind the stumps. As here's Borthwick bowls and down the leg side. That's now, is it tickled away or is that just turn and bounce? I think the umpire's going to signal byes on this one. It's pulled up inside the ropes. They're coming back for 3. Yes, they are. A moment's pause from hesitation from Simpson. It was turn and bounce down the leg side. That'll interest Luke Holman for the final day. If that was a right-hander, that would have been ripping past the edge. So something to keep an eye on the final day. Middlesex at 349 for 7. Helm on strike, slip goes down. Borthwick has 3 balls left of his 12th. And he steps in. There's sunshine at Chesley Street. Drops a little short, and Helm slaps him past mid-wicket. There was a moment's chance there for the dive in mid-wicket, but it was past him in a flash. Just trying to see who it was. Number 35, is that Potts? I think it is. And there's the 350 for Middlesex. 350 up in the 101st over. There's no doubts they'll be pushing towards the 400 now. Inside the 110th. And then what do they do from there? Do they keep going or do they pull out and have a bowl tonight? 353 for 7. Helm on to 12. Borthwick into bowl. Does so now. Drops a tad short again. Helm punches to cover and there's no run. 1 to come of the over. 353 for 7. 47 needed from 9.1 for maximum batting points for Middlesex. Trail by 68. Borthwick to Helm. Rips that one short again. Maybe the googly. Helm respectfully pushes to mid-off as he backs up to it. 353 for 7. Durham were 421 for 7. Boldly and commendably, that was the word I used yesterday, commendably declared 421 for 7. Simpson's on 100, Helm 12. They were trying to open up the game. Middlesex have pushed the run rate to 3.5. If they get up to that 400 in the 110, then they'll have had that run rate up at 4s, which was what the prediction was for this innings, to try and go at 4s through this innings. Just regularly lost wickets to stop them being closer to it all the way through and then really launching at the end. But this man might launch further yet. Here comes McAlinden, bowls to Simpson on 100. And this ball's edgily down to deep thirds, halfway forward to that Simpson. Dick Edge moves him to 101. 354 for 7. Give McAlinden a chance to go at Helm. Now, Helm likes mid-wicket. He likes cow corner. He likes a sweet pickup. There's a deep square and a long leg. There's nobody out at mid-wicket. Big old boundary. Fancy you might see a clip or a... don't say slog lightly, but heave into the onside. This one's short and Helm drops the hands below it, allows it through to the keeper, no run. Don't forget, if you want to get in contact, at Kevin Ham BBC, at Marty Cricket. John Simpson appreciation, Marty. What have you got for me?
Oh, he's a good newsreader.
McAlinden's in, bowls, and there's the clip. Through mid-wicket, sweeper out there, just a single. Just a nonchalant flick that from Helm. Moves 13, 355 for 7. When he's batting well, he makes it look very easy, Tom Helm. Was he a newsreader, Simpson? Was he overseas correspondent? He was a war correspondent.
Yeah, he was. Wasn't he? He did newsreading.
Did he newsread as well? Have you ever read the news? I know you did the presented drive time, but did you ever read the news as well?
Not on the TV. I've done it hundreds of times on the radio.
McAlinden bowls and up on his toes. Simpson drops a single final mid-wicket. That's one thing I've never done actually. I've never read the news.
I read the news most days during the winter. Here is the news. Just spotted Joe walking his dog at the far end of the ground there. Joe's still in a t-shirt.
I haven't put my coat on today. Here's McAlinden in, bowls a bouncer again to Helm. Through it goes. Umpires signal 1 for the over.
There's Dave McCall sitting in the corner of the stand at the far end of the ground there. Family from Riot up there as well. Oh, they've gone on to jackets now. They were in t-shirts at lunchtime when I was talking to them.
McAlinden, low full toss, clips to mid-wicket again. Last ball of the 102nd over. It's just a single and just 4 off that over. He only went for 5. Only went for a single off his last, so 5 off his last 2. His economy rate comes down to 5.6. McAlinden, well done him, because Middlesex are looking to push on. 357 for 7.
Lydia, who is a big cricket fan, Durham member. She says she might come down tomorrow, but she's just tweeted a picture. She's written a book about her uncle who was in one of the bomber crews in the Second World War, which I've been reading, which is called Above Us the Stars, and she spent a lot of time researching it, going to varying museums in Germany and all over the place. And she's just been to a military festival as Borthwick is driven down ground here for, well, that's a big thump. It's gone for 4, picked up by Helm and launched over mid-on.
Yeah, watch for that hit.
Yeah.
But I reckon, yeah, that's the 50 partnership as well.
Yeah.
55 balls, of which Simpson hit 28. Well batted.
In 55 balls, comes down the track here, just taps this out in towards the leg side, no run. Yeah, the We Have Ways military festival. So, don't know if that fancy some 1940s bands on or whatever. I don't know. Borthwick in. Let's come back to the bowler off Helm. There's lots of different types of festivals, isn't there? There's literary festivals, music festivals, comedy festivals. That is punched off the back foot by Helm, and a good diving stop in the covers.
Oh, this day in 1998, Atherton versus Donald. Gloved it, didn't he?
Where's that gone? It's gone.
Same again?
Yeah, same area.
Oh, it's pierced him though. They've got a single. Mid-off comes around to cover.
Couldn't quite stop it there. Macalinden, it's whacked him.
I've forgotten about that LBW as well. Yeah, Marcy, you love a plum. This was early. Atherton to Donald to Atherton in that incredible stand. And this day in 1998. Oof.
Oh, defended by Simpson. It bounces over the stumps into the keeper's glove. Who's the umpire?
Then came the next one that he gloved. There's the replay. Oh.
No, that's too high. His feet are off the ground as well.
Then came the gloved one through to the keeper. No doubt. I've forgotten the umpire's name. I recognise the face, of course. 1998, eh?
Attack.
Yeah, Finkel end change. So Macalinden 2 for 78 from 14. Brought some control back to it at the end there. Did well. It's 5 off his last 2 overs.
Whenever that is. Accepted.
What was that? Roland Jones, LBW. Plumbers a
plumb line in a shipyard.
Here's Potts. Bowls to Helm, dabs to mid-wicket, no run.
We've still got an hour here, plus this over to go. So they're not going to be off here until about 7 again, are they?
Got nowhere to be tonight, have you, Marty? Nowhere to be tonight?
No, not really.
Oh, I hope the Wi-Fi's not as slow as it was last night. It took me an hour to upload 2 minutes. Tried here, didn't work. Went elsewhere, didn't we? Tried. Still took 45 minutes there. Potts is in, bowls, and this ball's pushed away into the offside, and there's no run.
Did you sleep all right last night, Kev?
I did, I think, yeah. Thanks. Why?
Nice hotel?
Aye. Yeah, had a good night's sleep, I think.
Is it one of the best hotels that you stay in?
It is?
Yeah.
Have I told you that one, have I?
No, I just...
yeah, I think it is the best we stay in.
Potter's just taking some strapping off his...
it was actually, do you know what? It was always the best back in the day.
Was it?
Just aged a little bit now.
Has it?
Yeah, the pool and the sauna and the jacuzzi could do with a bit of a uplift.
A lot of hotels have, though, haven't they? That must be at least 10 years old, that one now. Probably.
I reckon more than that. 20. Oh, full of length from Potts to Helm. Through it goes to the keeper, and there's no run. I reckon.
Was it? It didn't always.
Well, first year I came up here was 2006, wasn't it? And
did it not always have that name?
Probably did. But The other one. Are we allowed to say the other one?
Well, the Ram side's at Carvin.
Because we always talk about that one, don't we? The Ram side, the old golf one. I think that was the first Durham hotel.
Well, yeah, and there was a lot of teams used to stay in the county on the bridge in Durham City as well, city centre, which that had a pool in it as well, I think, on the riverbank. And then the Radisson was a new one, wasn't it?
Potts bowls, Helm defence, 104th over here. Middlesex still need 38 for the next batting point. 4 overs to go to do it. It's. I remember when I first stayed in that one, I just thought, oh, this is the best one on the circuit.
Which one?
The one we're in at the moment.
Right.
But yeah, it's at least 15 years old, isn't it? I reckon. Stayed in it quite early on and thought this is the business. Because I remember, actually, I tell you why, it was one of the first that gave free Wi-Fi.
Ah.
And you just thought, oh, this is the life, isn't it? Free Wi-Fi in the hotel. This one's short to Helm, ducks underneath it, through it goes. TV channels were good. I think they used to give you sports channels in there as well. Free Wi-Fi. Nice new hotel. Yeah, it's just aging a little bit at the moment.
I have found that
the best in the business otherwise would probably be the Hilton down at Hampshire, if it had a swimming pool, but it doesn't have a swimming pool, does it? So
the problem with it, there's nothing around there. You're miles from anywhere there.
Helm awaits, Potts bowls, another bouncer. Now it's going to be that's all right. 362 for 7, end of the over, a maiden for Durham. Simpson is having a drink run out to him. I doubt it's a message. No, it is a drink, I think. He made no for Potts. 11 maidens in his 27, one for 68. He's been Roland Jones-esque in his persistence, hasn't he? 4 for Roland Jones yesterday. Excellent for him. Here's Borthwick, who's going to be bowling to Simpson. And Middlesex just need to get that move on now. What have they got? 6 overs, 36 deliveries to score 38 runs. To get that maximum batting point.
Yeah, that batting point. So, how many? 6.
38 runs and 36 deliveries to get them.
Yeah. Right, Borthwick back into the attack. Right arm over from the Lumley end. Played back up towards him by Simpson. Just a reminder now that on Radio Newcastle, Alex Neil, the Sunderland manager, is a guest on Total Sport for I think the first hour of the show anyway, taking your call. So give them a call.
Why did they stop that Sunderland documentary they had? That was brilliant, that.
Well, they had 2 series. They had 2 series of it. Yeah. That's just gone off towards fine. That was close in.
That was one of the best sporting documentaries around. It really was. I loved watching that.
In comes Borthwick again. No run there. Just played short on the offside. The idea was when they got relegated. I think when they first started filming it, the belief was they could bounce back from the Championship into the Premier League, wasn't it?
And then they got relegated to League One.
Yeah, and then so that was when they got relegated. If I'm remembering this right, that's a single up towards wide mid off and a throw at the stumps, which knocks one stump out the ground, but it's not a wicket. Then the following year, they thought, right, well, this is going to be Sunderland's year where they'll come back up from League One into the Championship, and they didn't. They lost in the playoff, and I don't know, there might have been a theory of that, will they ever get back? It took 4 years in the end, didn't it? So, quick walk. You go that way, you go this way. Oops, sorry, no, yeah.
Took 4 years to get where? Back to the Championship?
Yeah, because
are they back in the Championship now?
Yeah, the second season was scrapped because of COVID in the February. And around about that time, Sunderland had just gone on the slide slightly. This is played off towards point, and I remember they thrashed Wycombe Wanderers, and then the season was halted, and then it was scrapped, and they went on a points per game basis. So Wycombe had a very good first half of the season, but by the time Sunderland beat them 4-0, they were in free fall. And Sunderland, though, around about that time then had put in an awful performance at Bristol Rovers and lost, and that went against them, and they failed to go up very narrowly. Then they what happened the following year? Can't remember. Went out in the playoffs to Lincoln, didn't they? And then went up through the playoffs this year.
But why didn't they do a third series? It was great. Why didn't they keep it going?
Well, it's probably down to finding people who want to commission a third series. There's been quite a few of them. Wasn't there one with Spurs and there was one with Man City?
Yeah, but always an edge from Helm down to third at the start of the new over from Potts. moves on to 21. Marty's off. Yeah, but they're not quite the same. The Sunderland on the axis there, the people, it was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Tea Lady was great, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was, but what it did show is just what an absolute car crash was going on behind the scenes.
Well, that's why it was great. That's why we wanted to see more of it. But also publicity for the club, though. I mean, you kind of attract interest. It's never bad. All publicity is good publicity, don't they say? 365 for 7. Potts is around the wicket. He bowls to Simpson, who drives hard. Cover's got a chase on here and he won't catch it. 369 for 7. Simpson on to 107. And Middlesex, they trail Durham by just 52 runs now, with 14.4 overs remaining on the third day. 4.6 overs remaining with the bonus points in play. Again, my fancy is get to the 400 and get out. Have a little bowl at them tonight. You never know. 1 or 2 this evening, it could just open things up. Here's Potts around the wicket to Simpson. Drives again, this time straight to the fielder in the deep. A single taken. 370 for 7. 30 more for maximum batting points for Middlesex. Simpson moves to 108. Rob, welcome back. Where have you been watching upstairs with the...
Been having a bit of a personal duel.
Oh, you're playing up there, are you?
Well, indeed, had a bit of a personal duel going on with one of the Durham media team.
Yeah.
Safe to say, one of us was slightly more successful than the other.
Well, you got Hampshire, Yorkshire, Durham, Middlesex represented up there. I'm delighted to tell folks at home that Middlesex are powering ahead at the top of the table. As here's a length ball that goes past the edge of Helm's bat from Potts. Lovely ball, line and length outside off.
I just lined up for some bowling practice, just trying to get my eye in for tomorrow to get you out again.
Who's in second spot behind Middlesex upstairs in the media cricket? Hampshire, Durham or Yorkshire? It's got to be Yorkshire, hasn't it? Come on, hands up the rest of you. Yorkshire are the closest challengers upstairs, aren't they?
Yeah, with Yorkshire. That pained me to say.
It's been a good duel we've had.
Yeah, I just had a personal little battle with Josh.
Potts bowls, bouncer underneath it. Helm lets it go through.
Just lining up for some bowling practice. Want to get my eye in, like I said, ready to get you.
We're going to have to find some tracky bottoms for tomorrow, though, if we're going in the nets, aren't we? I'm going to have to do that long walk to the big shop again tonight, aren't I, Marty? Find some clothes.
So yeah, I was just lined up for some bowling practice, and Josh decided to turn it into a little bit of a nets battle between himself and I. Good fun. Worked out his weakness,
Which is?
full and straight.
Yeah, swinging Yorker, I got him.
I didn't go with a Yorker. Not a swinging one, anyway.
Potts bowls, and this is clipped away out to deep mid-wicket, and they'll take 2 here. Helm moves to 23, 372 for 7. Middlesex need 28 for that bonus point. That's the end of the 106th over. It means that Simpson will have the strike on 108. So, 24 balls left to score 28 more runs. The deficit's 49.
Picked up some of my googlies. He wasn't able to pick them up, so cleaned them up a few times, and he snicked me off a fair few times, trying to go back on the crease. Good little personal battle. I enjoyed it greatly. So we'll all come together tomorrow to what was it you on? Like 400 odd not out? Sam North East?
Yeah, exactly. Iron up Lara's record tomorrow.
Borthwick to continue, and down the track comes Simpson to meet it. Single taken to long on. I wonder who did me third place in cricket. Hampshire or Middlesex?
Hampshire or Durham, you mean?
Hampshire or Durham. As again, quick single taken this time to mid-off.
I like you, Rob, but Durham are clearly third.
Yeah, I had to give it Durham as well, don't worry.
Although Marty's threatening to play tomorrow, that'll give you a chance of climbing off bottom spot.
I'm not sure. I think Marty's got a bit of a...
Hey, he's gun yesterday. I told you he's a middle order powerhouse, isn't he?
Borthwick slightly back of a length, and it's slapped down to long on for a single. Simpson's eyes lit up there as Borthwick pulled it back of a length. 3 singles so far. Borthwick's in again, floats this outside Helms off stump, and he waits for it to be played down to deep backward point, and they get a double when Helm takes a tumble as the throw came in from McAlinden. Almost gone away of McIntosh behind the stumps. 377 for 7. Borthwick in again. An attempted slog trying to go over the long off, but just an inside edge means it turned around the corner to short third man for a single. 1 ball remaining. Simpson on strike on 110. Man just gone out to cow corner. And we can tempt Simpson here. Tucks him up for room instead on the leg side, and it's a dot to finish. 378 for 7. Yorkshire are now 9 down at Scarbados.
Lead 200 yet? Must be.
Hit the refresh, so I don't make a fool of myself like I did last time. The lead, no, 183. Ooh. With 1 wicket left. Abbott and Abbas again doing the damage.
378 for 7 here, Middlesex. They've got 21 balls left to find the next 22 runs for maximum batting points. Helms on strike and Potts is running in. 1 for 76 from 28. Potts bowls. Helm is forward, just opening the face to point, no run. Pretty orthodox fields for Potts in comparison to what we've seen. There's a deep third, a point, a cover and a mid-off. Mid-on, mid-wicket, deep square and long leg.
Just some stuff from around the other grounds. Not 277 for 7. I think a wicket's just gone down. Lead very healthy, approaching 400. As I mentioned, Yorkshire 9 down. Lead of 183. And close of play everywhere else around the grounds. Somerset closing on 359 for 3. Worcestershire 108 for 5, requiring another 180. Gloucestershire 5 down, still trailing by 27. Warwickshire 270 for 4, leading by 207 against Surrey, and we actually are still going at Old Trafford. Lancs 342 for 3, lead 220 odd.
Potts around the wicket to Helm, who works mid-wicket, no run.
So I think Worcestershire have got 5 wickets in hand, and they'll need 181 tomorrow, as that goes down to the final day at New Road. Essex Somerset looks like we'll be shaking hands shortly after the tea break. And Notts maybe starting to think about a potential late declaration with the lead up to 400. Maybe try and get Sussex in this evening.
Short one to Helm. Through to the gloves it goes. Ducks underneath it. 3 dot balls to start the over. So, how many left with that? Hold on a minute. I somehow said 21 balls left to score. The runs, of course, it was 3 overs, which is 18 balls, of which they've used through. It's 15 balls left to score, 22 runs. Simpson comes down to have a chat with Helm. Find the single, I think, is the call. This one's onto the legs and clipped away down to long leg. Single taken. 379 for 7. Problem here for Simpson, though. Does he look for the runs these last 2 balls, or does he look for the single?
Helm got quite a long way across his stumps there. If he'd missed, it was very much a case of he misses and Potts hits. Pretty much everyone. Well, no slips in play. Is a pretty standard ring field with fine leg and deep square.
This one's on a length, left alone by Simpson. One to come of the over.
It's got a deep third and a deep cover. Backward point, regulation, extra cover, mid off, mid on, mid wicket, and as I mentioned, It's deep backward square, Nick Maddinson, and Alex Lees, I believe, at long leg.
They're not coming up on the single, interestingly, here for the end of the over. They've still got deep cover back. I think he's asking a question, is he? No, he's not. Is he? No, staying where he is.
Just umming and ahhing
Deep
a little
squares
bit.
back, deep third, long leg. Should be a single out there for Simpson somewhere. Potts last ball of the over, he's in, bowls a bouncer, Simpson hooks him away, and we'll pick up 4. Good response from Simpson. 1 or 4, that was his thought at the end of the over. The short ball getting out of the over was perhaps a little obvious. Into the short boundary, picks up another boundary. 17 required for maximum batting points with 12 deliveries left of the bonus points in play. Middlesex at 383 for 7. Simpson moves to 114. Helm has 28. And Helm has the strike to Borthwick here, so his job will certainly be drop a single. Or get on with it himself, actually. Maybe Simpson says, go on, you got the short boundary to your leg side, which is your scoring arc. Borthwick bowling to you. You want to go for it? Go for it. Pick up over mid-wicket, mid-on. Have a thump, why not?
Borthwick having a word with his mid-on.
Long old chat.
Think that would be Bedingham down there. It's just sent. No, it was Lees and mid-on and mid-off have both been sent back to the boundary. Deep cover in place and change on the leg side field as well. Maddinson will go back to deep forward square leg. Ben Rain goes to cow corner. Borthwick's now in, floats it up. Ooh. Very full and tucks him up for room, can only play it back to Borthwick, and there's a man just round the corner. It's Potts at short third. Borthwick in again, full and clipped down towards long on. Thinking of 2, but will just be a single. No catches in play for... No catches in close for Simpson, should I say. So Borthwick is in and Simpson goes back and prods to cover. It's been a very good innings by Simpson. Borthwick floats this one and Simpson tries to take him down the ground and does. Bops him straight back over his head for 4. Slightly over pitch from Borthwick, gave it a lot of flight up above the eye line, but Simpson set on 114. Too wise for those tricks and picks it out and sends him back over his head for 4.
Yeah, lovely shot from Simpson. 12 away from that batting point.
Borthwick. Don't think he was going to try and run out the non-striker, but abandons that delivery. Comes in again, drops it short of length, and Simpson cuts him down to the man on the boundary.
Takes a single, which moves him to 389. So Helm here, again, I think he'll be given the freedom. Go for it. There's nothing for Middlesex to lose at the moment. Have a big hit. Tom, take the pressure off Simpson for the next over. Simpson's going to be facing Potts, which won't be easy. So they've got long on back, deep mid-wicket back, deep square back, but I think Helm will look to take them all out of the equation and just go straight over the top of them if he gets any sort of chance to free up those arms.
Here is Borthwick, drops it back of a length and was in the air for a considerable amount of time just to Borthwick's left, and in the end they just take a single down to long off. 390 for 7, so 10 needed off this over to secure the final batting point.
With Helm on strike. Oh, is there a change of bowling? It's going to be Maddinson. This is an interesting move. Is it going to be Maddinson, or is he just coming over for a chat?
Does look. Keeper's kept his helmet on.
He's doing his ponytail. He's going to bowl. There you go.
Keeper's kept his helmet on as well, so it does signal the change.
Right, so he's a left arm finger spinner. Helm's got to drop the single here and let Simpson hit with the spin to that short boundary on the leg side.
I'm not sure if there is a fielder out there who's chatting with two Durham subfielders in jackets. I was a little bit confused because have they left deep cover wide open?
This ball's dabbed into the onside by Helm. No run. 10 needed. 5 left. Got to find that single.
It's very full from Addison. Darted it in at his boots.
If he skies one and they cross, it's still the new batter on strike. So he comes down the track and pushes the single to long on. Well done. And now this is the move. Madinson, bowling left arm finger spin, turning the ball into the pads of Simpson. So Simpson will be hitting with the spin in his arc. Checks his guard again. Madinson will be left arm over the wicket. Anything in the slot here is surely going to disappear. They've got long on back, deep mid wicket, deep. Oh, they've got cow corner as well. Deep square, so 4 back. Long off's back, so it's deep point. Madinson in, bowls. Simpson opens up. Single down to long on. Oh, he's taken the single. I thought he might reject it. 392 for 7. 3 balls left. 8 runs. I mean, this isn't... It's just 1 point we're talking about, but they're so close that they won't want to miss out on it. I think the message to Helm will again be just drop the single, Tom.
Or if it is flighted up, go for it. Field is back.
Yeah. I'd say drop the single. Here's Madinson. Left arm around, Helm down the track, pushes the single to long on. The biggest problem with going for it there again is if he skies it, that change in law now, that the new batter has to have strike even if they cross.
Well, it's weird that one, isn't it? Because it's not in effect in the international game.
Not yet. But I think
that's October. They're looking to emphasise that one, but
that would be worst case scenario for Middlesex. Here we go. 2 balls left to the power play in play. Middlesex needs 7 runs. Madinson's in, bowls to Simpson, slams him down to a wide long on. It's just a single, so Helm needs to hit a 6 off the last ball of the 110th if Middlesex are to bring up maximum batting points. Over to you, Tom. Helm. Simpson comes down the track to him. 4 singles off the over, and where will he go with it? He's hitting against the spin to his key scoring area, which is mid-wicket cow corner, where he can sweetly pick up. Can he go inside out over the offside? Go down the ground. Madinson's darted them in here really well, which has prevented Helm and Simpson getting leverage.
He's now put a straight on in place. So he's got a wide long off and wide long on.
Well, they know Helm's game very well then. 4 back on the onside. 2 cow corners effectively. Madinson left arm around, bowls. It's right into the block hole, dug out by Helm. Middlesex missed the batting point. They're 395 for 7. At the end of the 110th, do they pull out and have 8 overs at Durham tonight? Do they have a couple more overs? Maybe just have 3 or 4 at them tonight. Have a couple of overs to really tee off. The deficit's 26. Get beyond them. Eyes on that balcony and Toby Rowland-Jones. What's the thought process? There's a few out there. They've missed. They'll be disappointed they've missed out on that batting point, but it is tough today. I said Middlesex's plan was to go at 4 and over today. They're going at 3.6.
Can't see anybody immediately in whites as if they were going to spring a surprise declaration.
I don't think it'd be much surprise. I mean, I'd be. I mean, maybe they'll bat on. Maybe they'll just bat on and try and have an hour at them before lunch tomorrow, perhaps. Let's see. But you just wonder, is it worth trying to grab a couple of wickets tonight when Durham just won't want to bat this evening?
Change at the Lumley end. It's going to be Jonathan Bushnell to send down some. Not quite sure. I haven't seen him bowl before, so I don't know what it'd be.
Medium, is it?
I'd guess. I guess right arm medium.
Marcy's not seen him bowl either. Here he goes.
In and full and straight is the go, and Helm can only defend that right in front of him.
Bad lights ended play at Nottinghamshire.
Bad light at Trent Bridge.
200 knots, 284 for 7.
Knots 284 for 7. 389. 81 is the lead.
I can't imagine they'll be going for long tomorrow morning, if at all.
No. Overnight declaration sounds about right there.
Bushnell comes in again, full and straight again, and just dabbed onto mid-off for no run.
Simpson's coming to have a chat with him. It's got to be at this point for Middlesex. There's no point using up deliveries. Just get going. Hold out if you do, but get going and keep going now, I'd say.
Bushnell in again, slightly back of length, and it's just dab down to third man. The pub is closed. McAlinden down there at third. Bushnell to Simpson then for at least this delivery. There are 3 left in the over. Bushnell in and tuck Simpson up for room. Can only drop it into the offside. No run. A few of the Middlesex members have just gone back into the dressing room. Wonder if that's to don the whites and get Durham in. Bushnell in, and Simpson just dabs this back to Post-wicket, mid-wicket. 1 delivery left. Deficit now just 25. It's been a very good day's play for Middlesex, and in particular John Simpson. Bushnell in, back of a length, and Simpson just defends. Just the 1 run from Bushnell. End of the over. Middlesex 396 for 7.
Let's have a look at that balcony. Any movement up there? Doesn't seem to be.
And I said a few had gone in, but I'm gonna say if you're Middlesex, if you really want to try and push the game on.
Well, every delivery counts here, doesn't it? So
lose two overs for change of innings if there is one. 9 overs left to be bowled today.
Yeah, so if they declared now, there'd be 7 left. But what do they want? 3, 4, 5 of them. But every dot ball at the moment feels costly for the match. Madison bowls, Helm drives to cover, no run. Just feels like at this stage of the game now,
sort of what we're waiting for.
May as well just launch every ball really and get going. Madison again, Helm drives hard, only to cover once more, another dot ball.
It's been good from Madison, this just darting them in on...
Well, what did he concede off his final over of the 110th? Was it 5? He conceded off that over as he comes in again, bowls, lots of flight, Helm drives, this time does get it down to long off for a single. So there was 5 off that over, 1 off Bushnell's, and now 1 off the first 3 of this. So that's 15 deliveries for 7 runs. At a stage where Middlesex are looking to hit out, but here's Simpson on to strike. And if anyone's going to get it going, it'll be him. Again, Yadav in next, he will come in and just swing, and if he comes off, then that ball will stay hit. So it does just feel worth it at this stage as Madison moves in, bowls, Simpson. Oh, that turns and bounces, which now again, we saw one from Borthwick to Simpson a few overs back that turned and bounced down the leg side, and you thought, wow, if that did that to a right-hander on that length and that line, then that's big trouble as Madison's in again, bowls, Simpson's forward, dabs to mid-wicket, no run. On to come at the over. What does he do? Does he just push the single and decide he's going to take on Bushnell? Nope. Pushes straight back to Madison, no run. 397 for 7. Simpson's 121. Helm's 35.
We have just reached another lull in the game, haven't we?
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's a game of chicken, but it's just a reaction game now. Of will Middlesex bat out the remaining 8 overs? There doesn't seem to have been much of a shift on from the 2 out in the middle, as if they were going to declare. And Durham have just decided to go, well, we'll just stick our part-timers on to close out the day's play and get it over with, and we'll come back tomorrow.
Well, for Durham, I guess there's no point flogging the others at this stage.
Bushnell in, and Helm looks to drive, but can only pick up Borthwicket cover. As you say, there's no point for Borthwick to flog any of his senior men into the ground any more than they've already done so today. They've got through a lot of work. As Bushnell in again, and Helm with a thickish outside edge just down to third man for a single. There was a gully in play, probably would have been taken, but at this stage with the deficit so little, Durham just plugging either the singles or the boundary. There's no in between. Bushnell around the wicket now to Simpson, who just prods back to him.
Yeah, funny old end of the day at the moment. Maybe Simpson is looking at Bushnell here, thinking to launch. They've got a number of overs in mind that they plan to bowl tonight. There's a nice clip out to deep mid-wicket, just a single, 2 to come of the over. Yeah, again, the other way Middlesex could think about it is just bat through until 2.5 sessions to go. What would they be? Maybe only 50 ahead by then, aren't they? So it seems more a case of get them in tonight. Seems the slightly better idea, but we shall see.
Just dab down to third man again for a single. 1 ball left, and after that there'll be 7 overs to go, making up time lost on day 1. That's the 400 for Middlesex off 112 overs and 5 deliveries. Of course, final day's got to be fixed timing, so I think we worked it out yesterday, probably around 35 overs lost from the game. Bushnell in full and wide, and Simpson can't get that past Beddingham. End of the over, 400 for 7.
I think there was a small look there from Simpson over his shoulder to the balcony. There was a drink that came out a few overs back, whether they just said, look, everyone's gone in, whether it was a case of, look, we're going to take 3, 4 at them tonight. So you've got until then. If it was to be 4, then it would pretty much be this over for Middlesex to have a thrash. The deficit 21, but again, it doesn't really look like that is the plan at all.
I was going to say, no one. I can't see Toby Rowan-Jones out on a balcony, hanging over, waiting for.
Madison's in, bowls. Helm with a solid forward defence back up track. Helm's signalling for new gloves, so the declaration definitely isn't imminent then. Madison around the wicket, bowls, and Helm little inside edge onto his pads. Rolls away towards point.
Imagine if he brings out new gloves just for them to declare.
Around the wicket again, lots of flight. This ball's clipped to mid-wicket, single taken, 401 for 7. Not Fred Titmus says, day 3 of the championship match, and Kevin Hand is talking about the power play. Hashtag heat stroke. Bonus points in play. Bonus points. 110.
Heat stroke? North East?
Well, yes.
That was last week.
Frostbite. Madison to Simpson. Dabs into the onside again. No run.
End of Yorkshire's innings at Scarbados. Got the lead up to 213 in the end. Some very impressive late hitting.
Dab to point by Simpson. No run. 401 for 7.
So Hampshire looks like it might have a few overs to bat tonight. And if not...
The dot ball pushed back by Simpson. End of the 114th. 6 to go on day 3. Gloves run out for Helm. I wonder at Middlesex just thinking, well, we'll bat until we bat tomorrow. Doesn't seem to be any conversation at all out there. Simpson's grabbing a drink. No message run out. Who is that that's run out the drinks for Simpson? Trying to recognise it. Robbie White? Can't quite see. 401 for 7 it is. 6 overs remain today. I don't know, Middlesex Going to bat in halfway through tomorrow, try and get a lead of 150 and just see if something happens tomorrow night. Maybe they think with that little bit of bounce that's been up and down, there's been that little bit of turn for the spinners, maybe they're just thinking there'll be something for Holman the later the game goes tomorrow.
Hampshire will require 213 to win at Scarbados. As Bushnell continues, Helm drives him out to the man at deep cover for a single.
Change of gloves for Helm, eh? 65 deliveries, 39 runs for him, 122 for Simpson. So this partnership came together with a score on 308. So the partnership is worth... Wow, they're closing in on the century stand, aren't they? As his Bushnell.
Just defended back to him by Simpson.
Is that right? Last wicket fell? Yeah, 308. So
partnership
6 runs shy, 94.
Partnership at 94.
Yeah. Yeah, just 6 runs shy of the century stand.
Bushnell in again. Simpson defends.
Marty's disappeared. He must be putting the world to rights upstairs, mustn't he? Thoughts and prayers with the rest of the press box.
No, he's had enough of us talking about how good we've been in media centre cricket. And
he's saving himself for tomorrow, isn't he?
He said, "Right, I'll plant some seeds ready for tomorrow." Bushnell in and driven exquisitely back past him by Simpson. Wasn't too much of a bad delivery. A touch on the full side, but Simpson deliciously drives him back on the offside. Very straightish drive. Partnership now at 98. 406 for 7. Bushnell in, Simpson drives to cover, no run.
Oh, there's BBC Radio Sussex's picture from Trent Bridge where stumps are called. Look at that skyline there. Grim down south.
That's worse than we even had up here in day 1 afternoon.
Aye.
Last ball of the over for Bushnell and beats the outside edge of Simpson. End of the over, 406 for 7. It does very much look and feel like Middlesex will bat until close of play here.
Yeah.
As you mentioned,
no bat on tomorrow.
No message has been run on to say 1 over of slog, or if one of you gets out, then declare.
Yeah, I just wondered, they fancy, bat till lunch tomorrow maybe, and just see if that ball spins tomorrow afternoon. Madison's around the wicket, bowls to Helm. Nice looking drive, straight back to the bowler, no run.
Crowd starting to trickle out.
Well, yeah, I think they all feel, obviously there's no declaration now, which they all would have thought about. This ball's down the leg side from Madison, taken by the keeper, and now that declaration looks out of it tonight, then set off home 25 to 7. Helm plunges forward. This ball's eased away into the offside. Darting one in. Madison, it's turned to mid-wicket by Helm. Yeah, just playing out the day here, Middlesex. Which feels a little bit odd. I can't quite work it out other than having a go tomorrow. Helm again, dabbing into the onside. Bring them back in the morning. Let them stay out in the field for another session or so tomorrow morning, and then try and get at them after lunch. A lot of flight. This ball's tickled away through square leg. Single taken, 407 for 7. Roland Jones, the captain, he'll have a fair old idea himself, won't he, what the bowlers would like to do, how they'd like to go about it. And often you do fancy a little over at the side before stumps. or two can open something up. Light's just got a bit gloomy again here, hasn't it? Clouded over. 4 overs remaining.
Just reckon it'll be these two to bowl 2 from their respective ends and be done with the day. Bushnell in, an LBW shout, hit full on the pads. Not given.
Let's have a look. Oh, got outside the line of off. Went a long way across there, Helm. Might have hit in line, but that was the decision of the umpire. It was hitting him outside the line of off.
I think he's been harshly done by there.
Oh, century stand as well.
52 from Simpson and 40 from Helm in the century stand. I think Bushnell's been harshly done by there on the LBW shout. Here he is again, slightly back of a length that does just bounce off the pitch, and Simpson leaves through to the keeper.
Oh, of course, England are underway tonight, aren't they? Just got underway. Josh Butler's up and at South Africa already, tweets TMS. Let's have a look. Thumps a back-footed 6 over long on. Wow. Not bad. What have you lost? Oh, here's Bushnell in. Bowls, and this is pushed away into the offside by Simpson. No run. 3 to come of day 3. Let's have a look. See if Marty's tweeting something from wherever he is.
Bushnell in, tickled down the leg side by Simpson for 4.
Runs it is, yeah. He's on to 130, Simpson.
412 for 7, Middlesex.
The 400 comes up for Middlesex, right, Marcy, Emerson. They're 7 down. Likely scenario now is they all shake hands at 4:50 tomorrow and we all go home after another draw. That is certainly the likely scenario, but you never know. You never know.
It's a funny old game, cricket.
It has a... Well, I'd say that little bit of turn and bounce that's there today. Certainly Holman's going to be interested in that.
Bushnell in, and Simpson just defends back to him down the track. Deficit now just 9 for Middlesex. It's definitely been a day of attrition.
Yeah, I mean, looking up at that scoreboard now and the run rate 3.5.
Bushnell fullish, and Simpson pushes him through the covers for a single to end the over. Middlesex 413 for 7. What did we start on? 43 without loss? Did we start on today? Middlesex?
Yeah.
So 413 now, trying to do the maths in my head. 370 odd runs scored, 7 wickets. As you mentioned, run rate for the innings sitting at 3.5. These two part-timers just bowling through to the close.
Madison bowls to Simpson, just dabbed into the onside again to mid-wicket. Floodlights starting to take full effect again as Madison's in. Simpson defends, back up the track.
And there's been a wicket in the T20, and it has. Butler's just gone for 22.
A lot of flight. Simpson's down the track, pushes down to long on. Single taken. 414 for 7. Deficit 7.
England 28 for 1 down at Bristol. First T20. Butler had 22 before he was caught by Miller off Ngidi.
Push back from Helm, no run.
Simpson's just asked for a new bat.
A lot of flight. Helm pushes defensively. 4 to go of this over, then 2 more of the day. Yeah, new bat, John Simpson. He's planning on going big tomorrow, clearly.
He fancies a little double ton, doesn't he?
Dropping short. This one's punched down to long off for a single. Helm moves to 41. unless I'm missing something very, very obvious here, then clearly Middlesex's thought must be, right, Simpson, you're in, Helm's in, Yadav to come, Bamber can hold up an end, back to roughly lunch tomorrow, be 100 and a bit ahead, and just see if there's any spin for Holman. If there's not, we all go home at 4:50. That can only be the thing. Marty's worked out if they declare now we could go home early because there's 2 overs left.
Bushnell to begin his last over of the day. In bowls full and straight, and Helm just pushes back past him.
Simpson drops on 43. Marty looking through his notes.
Was that the Borthwick?
Yep,
caught
push
bowled?
back. There was the Holman reverse sweep then, wasn't it? It could have been very different then. They would have been 7 down at that point, Middlesex, and still trailing by, well, a fair old way, about 200 at that point, weren't they? Yeah, it would have been.
Bushnell in again, full and straight, and just dabbed into the onside. As it stands, the deficit is 6 runs. I think, as you say, Kev, Middlesex just going to bat and bat and bat. And as Martin tweeted out, as soon as it reaches 450, 2 captains just shake hands and be done with it. Helm plays across the line and goes through to the keeper. Sliding down, leg side delivery from Bushnell. 3 left in the day for him, 3 deliveries. In again, low full toss, just dabbed out to point.
Yeah, light's an issue now, isn't it? It certainly is dark. Maybe they'll let them play out the last 8 deliveries. They almost, well, it doesn't really matter for Middlesex because I don't think they're going to try to score any runs of these, but clearly intent on coming back and batting again tomorrow morning. And batting for the full morning session, you'd imagine. Try and get a lead up. Their thought process must be, as that's pushed defensively to mid-on, there's no run, that if there's anything to happen in this game now, it's going to be spin. So let's leave it as late as possible. Let's not try and go and chase against spin on. There's been turn and bounce. If it's going to be a little bit up and down, then go at them with the new ball, and then we shall see.
With an email.
Tina emails Martin to say we're on the Graveney balcony and bored. Watching paint dry comes to mind.
Bushnell, last delivery of the day, and Helm clips him through mid-wicket. Alex leaves with a slight misfield, and they will come back for 2.
Bushnell's last delivery of the day.
Indeed, it was. Helm moves to 43, deficit down to just 4, and as we head to the final over of the day, Middlesex are 417 for 7.
Yep, so it's going to be Madison, and it's going to be 6 balls pushed back and go again tomorrow. I can only think that they'll say to themselves, right, 32 overs in the morning. Simpson, see if he can get 100, 150 on the board. As he backs up, pushes this one into the offside. And with 150 lead, Durham, let's see if we can bowl him out in 64 after that. What a flight. Simpson's down the track, pushes into the onside, no run. And Holman will bowl the majority of it from one end, I'd imagine, and Seamers have a crack, a quick burst at the beginning, and then move along. Full ball, pushed into the offside, no run. I mean, today went pretty much close to plan. They'd have liked to have gone a fraction quicker, Middlesex, I'm sure. As on the back foot, Simpson pushes back. Dot ball again.
Effectively throwdowns these in the nets.
Yeah, pretty much so. Madison, loopy, flighty delivery. Simpson pushes to mid-wicket and no run once more. And we have 1 left of the day, and it's all eyes on the first session tomorrow just to see how they go about it, Middlesex. Madison, a bit of flight, tickle to mid-wicket. There ends day 3, 417 for 7. Not perhaps the ploy we were expecting. Middlesex trail by 4 and maiden over by Madison to end day 3. Middlesex clearly set on trying to do something pretty special tomorrow morning with the bat, and then something very special with the ball in the final 2 sessions. That's the only way I can read it. They'll try and wear down Durham in the field for another session tomorrow. We shall see. Marty, you coming back to say goodbye? No, he's had enough. He wants to go home. Rob, I think we've pretty much said all we can. So thanks very much for the company today, folks. We'll be back in the morning just before 11. We'll go and have a chat now, see if Middlesex will give it away. What's the game plan for tomorrow? Whether I'll speak to John Simpson, we'll have to wait and see. Not out overnight. He might let me. Probably the man to speak to, because we're speaking to the skipper at Stumps tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for the company today, folks. We shall speak to you in the morning. Look forward to having you with us from the 3 of us here at Chesterley Street. It's a very good night.